I'm a passenger.
Passenger Princess Rashawn. That's how the stream started, just so y'all know.
Yeah.
I'm so
The
excited to hit the
softest,
live button.
bathest pillow.
That made me so excited to press the live button. It's the little things in
Yay.
life. Yes,
It's
welcome.
your first time. First time streamer.
Nope. I
First
be
time streamer.
streaming. But I get to press the button today, and I'm
Let's
very
go.
excited. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey y'all. It is Wednesday, and we're gonna have a conversation about you blacks.
Ooh.
So that's what the topic is today.
The naggers.
The neggers. Where is the neggers? The nigglers. What's the other word? Yeah. Is it niggling? It's niggling, right?
Niggling is the word we gotta like use for them. Like that's their behavior. Niggling
the
behavior.
critical, the being very critical, right? It's part of it. Yeah. So the niggling niggers.
Niggling niggers.
Oh, gotta get it. Yeah. So that's what the episode is about today. What was the title? I don't know what the title was. You said it very educated.
Ooh.
So the stream, because I can't. Cultural
hypocrisy, double standards, and self-hatred caught in 4K.
Apparently, I need new glasses because it's getting tough, even close. So I'm supposedly nearsighted. The nearing ain't nearing no more. So I think it's time.
Hey, nigglies. Ooh, I like that.
Nigglets.
Where the nigglies? Oh, we need to make a little kids show. Yes. The nigglies.
So welcome. So we're gonna have that, but first, I guess we'll kind of the BET Awards came on what day? Sunday.
It might have Saturday or Sunday. One of them.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was Sunday because it was on with House of Dragons.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Sunday.
So yeah, and
speaking of ghetto mess, House of Dragons.
I can't wait. I'm ready to talk about it with Twan now. You were also requested for a stream post interview with the vampire, so we're gonna have to do those soon. But yeah,
let's do that.
It's ghetto for a lot of reasons, and unfortunately not good ones. But I missed some of it because of that. But I did this year BET Awards to me just feels like it had a lot more viewership than usual. I usually don't hear people talk about BET Awards.
Yeah, unless something happens and then we all go back and watch clips.
Yeah, the last time I think people even remember that the BET Awards was happening was the year Sexyy Red first popped up. Yeah, and probably. Everybody was like, "Who is this? Why?" Because she was there, and they was like, "Oh, it's so ratchet." Like I think Sexyy Red, she single-handedly reinvigorated the BET Awards because I don't really think not Sexyy Red to Caitlin Clark of the BET Awards. What?
Wow. Okay, bold statement. Let's hot takes. Let me get my hot take meter going.
It's a hot take.
Sexyy Red is the Caitlin Clark of the EBT.
Not the EBT Awards. I feel like that's right. But it's true though.
Yeah, okay.
I don't, because honestly, in my own life, this is just me, a millennial. I'm a younger millennial, I think. This is just me. I did not remember. I couldn't have told you when the BET Awards come on. And the last time before this BET Awards that I remember the BET Awards was when everybody was talking about Sexyy Red throwing money and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember either. I just remember things keep happening at the BET Awards.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what made me watch it. I think we were all just sitting in Discord. I think with me and y'all at midnight and maybe you. And we were just like, it's coming on soon. The midnight might have said it and turned it on. Why not?
Yeah. So, where were you typing that she's the Caitlin Clark of the BET Awards?
In my notes.
I was about to say, I was like, change the stream title.
Hey, that might be Mr. He said.
You might be saying, I thought you was changing the stream title. You know, you could do
now that you mentioned it.
I mean, on Twitch. I don't think you could change it. Can you change it?
I ain't even on Twitch, but I can go into my YouTube while you're talking.
Oh, that's crazy. Now. But yeah. So the last time I heard anything about it was definitely her. I did not watch it the subsequent year, I think. Maybe if somebody I'm into performs. I think I watched Chloe Bailey perform. Maybe that's 1 year. That was like 2022 though. So I just really haven't been watching it. So she's single-handedly, I think, honestly, I think that's what we got this year. So many female ass-shaking music artists because of the attention Sexyy Red actually brought back to the BET Awards. by just being Sexyy Red. Yeah. So I think they were just like, look, this is getting the numbers up. And people can say what they want, but after the viewership they probably got this year, we get more ass shaking in 2025. Yes.
Yep. Unfortunately, that's the cycle. Sex sales, and we gonna sell it. We known to sell things.
Yeah. I mean, but it's working because nobody was checking for the BET Awards before the ratchet was brought back.
No.
When the BET Awards tried to be a respectable award show, wasn't nobody watching it.
I mean, that's true, but I feel like there's a lane. There's a lane of actually quality music.
It was
and good entertainers where we would support that. That's possible. That's there. They don't go there for whatever reason. They went a different way.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. So most of the bigger artists who are getting that real attention don't come to the BET Awards. Unless they're just like the hood musicians who have just made it big. They still come.
Yeah.
But the other ones don't. They're not pulling up.
That's weird.
So I don't know. I just one of those things where what people say versus what people do are different. And I'm inclined to believe what people do.
I'm with you. And I think the BET Awards is a part and parcel of what you're talking about. Like, black people are having an identity crisis, and the BET Awards is a function of that identity crisis because they want to be the Grammys, but they're not.
Right. I think they know BET has realized they're not the Grammys. Right. They've accepted that they're not the Grammys. I think black people have accepted that the BET Award, BET has accepted that it's not the Grammys.
Right. They're not.
They're like, we're BET. Yeah, I mean, because Uncut. I mean, this is BET.
The nigglings.
But this is BET. Like, we know. Why were you watching BET over the box or MTV? Why? For real. For real. Like, let's be real with ourselves. Exactly. Why was most people watching BET?
I mean, it was Uncut. For the videos, music videos. That was.
But they're infamous for Uncut.
They're infamous for Uncut. But 106 in Park. Their music video shows have been popular since you were a child. It was Donnie Simpson and that Rachel girl on the island vibes. I mean, their video shows were legendary for a really long time. They got, I guess they hit the mainstream culture closer to the main, like 106 in Park, push it to the youth.
To the brain, because it was competing with TRL. But it's BET. It's changed over time. But I just think, I don't know. I feel like a lot of, what we got was very accurate to what is popular right now. I don't feel like they just pulled these terrible ass shaking artists. Like, that's Spotify right now. I mean, that's
that's what's popular. Like, that's what's going on in the streets. Like, that's the music people are bumping to. But like, it's hard for me to do like the apples. Like, was it the egg, chicken or the egg? Like, which one came first? Like, is that only because that's what's being put out there? That's what's going on in the streets?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think it's only because we know that there's other artists who ain't getting it. Now, we can get into conspiracies of record companies want to push this and this and that, but I don't know. People can say that, but at some point, humans have to take some of the responsibility because I was trying to go to the Meg Stallion concert last night. And I know all them people who was in there was not forced by no record company to get the motherfucking tickets.
Nah, it's not a force. It's not a force.
Right, it's not a force. It's what a culture thing. Want.
It's a cultural adaptation.
It's the culture. And I think some people struggle with what the culture is and what it isn't. Yeah. And the culture isn't something that has to be agreed on by everybody.
That's facts. It's just what the majority do.
Yes. Yeah, it's what people do. That the culture is what people do. Mm-hmm. Not what people want to do or want to believe people do. Right.
That's true.
So that's kind of my issue with a lot of the discourse around BET. And then, of course, people get into that whole, like, they picked the worst of us. So I guess we can start there.
The worst of us.
Yeah. So, I mean, you close enough to boomers. Please help give me some insight onto your interpretation of that take. Or, like, not just that. Also, I want to know, like, what's an alternative that we have seen a lot?
What do you mean by that?
like people say this is the worst of our culture, like the BET Awards, the ass shaking and stuff. And I'm trying to see, like, okay,
it's the lowest vibration.
It's the lowest vibration, right?
Yeah.
So what's the high counterpart?
It would be like the Michael Eric Dyson, the Yvette McGee. It would be like the intellectuals. That's the highest chakra is the mental. It would be the academics. It would be the thought. The thought leaders. Now again, I would analogize this to what whole math likes to say. Like higher levels of awareness don't mean better. Like because a perfectly functioning bike is better than a broken down warship. Like an aircraft carrier that won't float. Like so, you can have a higher level. You can be on a higher level, but be a worse functioning. So it really. So like when we say higher and lower,
Dyson and my stomach bubbled.
Yeah, your face.
Yeah, my stomach bubbled.
Yeah.
I just yuck. Right. Like when people see them.
Yeah.
And have that like yuck reaction. I have the same reaction when I hear Michael Eric Dyson.
Yeah.
Like he's the worst of us to me. He's also a version of the worst of us for different reasons. He's that worst of us for a whole different set of reasons. So I don't see them as better. They're just different.
Yeah, they're just different. That's what I think, because we do higher and lower frequency, we do it as we set that as a value structure.
Right.
But I don't think it probably should.
I see it as a spectrum.
It should just be a spectrum. Yeah.
Should be horizontal and not a vertical line. So he's like worse. So that's my first thing, because I'm just thinking in my head, like, what are people thinking we are when they're saying this is what? Well, more so like, what do people think we are when they're saying this is what we aren't?
They think they're somewhere else. Like I really love learning about the chakras, because everybody thinks they're coming from a different frequency.
Right.
So they just think I'm somewhere else on the spectrum. I'm not that. And because we've set that over as worse, that's the worst of us. I'm trying to distance myself from the worst of us, because that typically, to people outside of us, that version of us, which is loudest and most noticeable, that gets the most attention, that we don't want to be that, because that becomes what the other people see and say it's black. Like the Aquafina and the black scent. People were mad at her about having a black scent, but all black people don't talk like Aquafina was talking. So when we say black, it's the same thing with American. There's a default black, there's a default American. And default black, we don't want default black to be them, but it is.
Yeah. I'm like, that's what my whole thing. I'd be like, so what is black? Because, I mean, I've always stood by the thing that we need to stop blanketing black people. Yeah, I feel like the same people who are complaining about it are doing the same thing they're complaining about. Because I think black culture is very much more nuanced. I think we got a lot of people who ain't garden variety black, claiming black, and it's muddy in the waters. I think a lot of people aren't actually experiencing black culture the way they think they are. They don't even know what it is because they ain't in it.
Facts.
So I always find myself thinking that, like, who are we then if we not this? I'm not saying that's the whole of us, but I mean, what else are we? Like, that's like uniquely us in like not an American trait also. Like, you know, so I don't know. I'm not one to, like, I don't know. That's just always weird to me. It just feels like self-hate. It feels like
I mean, part of it is. What is it? There's a quote. You hate the thing in others, the thing that you resent in yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it's that. A lot of us are trying to elevate from that. So because we're trying to elevate from that, we don't want to be reminded of that part of our past. A lot of us are coming from the ghetto, the hood. A lot of us are coming from poverty. A lot of us are coming from ignorance and lack of education. A lot of us are coming from the places where we live like some of these people present. I'm not even saying they live that way. This is the way they present. So because of the way they present, it reminds us of the way that we live, and it makes us uncomfortable. So I know I see that in myself. I know I'm like, ugh, because I see my sisters. I see my sisters and the way they act, and it's like, oh God, I hated the way they acted. It was always embarrassing. They showed up at school when I was a kid and pulled me out of school acting ghetto and loud. And oh my God,
it's triggering.
Reminds you where you come from.
And then to like feel shame about it and then have other people like actually enjoy it or find it entertaining.
Oh my God.
I think that's also a struggle.
Then it's an insult.
Well, that's interesting. But I can tell that it's an uncomfortable space to be in, that like this thing that you felt shame for, or even maybe worse shame for, other people are just like, this is great now. Like fast forward 15 years and now it's like, this is great.
I swear to God. Like making this personal, if everybody went around, if I started seeing everybody walk around acting like my sisters, I would be so bothered. Like in my real life, I would be so bothered. Like if they were walking and talking like my sisters. And this is just a version of that. It's like, oh my God. Oh.
That is actually best. I mean, I kind of peeped that, but I don't relate to that.
Yeah.
Like, even though I do relate to we want to get out of there because it's dangerous environment, like the negative sides of it. And that's why for me, it's hard to just say the aesthetic is itself the issue. I'm an aesthetics person. I'm pro aesthetics. I'm pro stepping into energy, putting it on. Like, I'm pro all of that. So I don't really find an issue with the aesthetic. I love a wild ass aesthetic. Okay.
It's not, it's not just the aesthetic. It's a combination.
But it's the lifestyle, I think. Well, the actual life in the hood. Anybody who's actually lived in the hood is not like saying that it's great. Yeah. So,
and most people aren't like Sexyy Red and Sukiyana in the hood.
Even in the hood.
Most people aren't like that. Most people are working class or trying to do something. Everybody in the hood is not like that.
Well, they're hood rats. I mean, everybody from the hood isn't a hood rat. So but they're hood rats to me. So I mean, they're a valid part of hood culture, you know? Yeah. And it's
like I will say in the 90s, it was the gangster. This is the woman version of the gangster 90s, where we were trying to keep men's image from being, pull up your pants, quit sagging, quit da-da-da-da. We were quit wearing the baggy clothes. We were on men, clean up your hair, get a fade, quit wearing those dreadlocks. And so the men went through this in the 90s.
How did it feel through it now? The men were going through that. Did it feel at the time like, oh, this is valid, or did it just feel like, oh my God, like you want me to just not wear or be? You don't want me to embody the culture. Most of the time, somebody else raised you. You had me in this fucking neighborhood. Now I can't embody the culture of the neighborhood I was in. That's crazy.
Yeah, it felt like an attack, but it was one I was used to. So I grew up in a house of women. So I was getting policed by women for everything being correct. And then there was a societal version of that. So there was a mommying from my family of all women. And there was a mommying from the outside. You know, pull your pants up. Can't look like this. Can't look like that. You're embarrassing. Blah, blah, blah. You're a representation of all Black people. You're a representation of our family. So I heard that messaging everywhere. Great. So it didn't feel like some kind of, it didn't feel like I could escape that. So it never felt like.
You just kind of accepted it.
Yeah. It just became an internal critic. So respectability politics, whether I knew it was for white people or not, I don't know who it was for. I don't know who the original intent was.
I don't think it was really for. Yeah, I think it was always for Black people, by Black people, as a survival instinct. Yeah. Like, they look like you got some sense when you go outside, so you don't draw no attention to yourself.
It could have been that. It could have been to keep your head down. It could have been to conform and assimilate. It could have been respectability politics. It could have been anything. But I know I absorbed it, and it became a part of my mind. So
how unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
No, I mean, like not like I'm not saying like poor.
No, I get it. No, I don't take it. Yeah, I don't take it as a judgment.
But it's just creating that crazy inner critic that's never okay with who you actually are. Because that's my issue with it. Like, I was watching B. Taylor had made a video. And she was talking about, my daughters, or I don't think she had daughters, but she was just talking about she has kids and like she's worried about her daughters.
B. Taylor and B. Simone. Okay, I watched that video and I was confused on which one I was listening to.
Yeah, the one I put
because B Simone is who we're talking about, but B. Taylor was talking about. I mean, not literally, but B. Taylor was talking about how B. Simone presents.
I know. Was that what it was? The video was about? She was just
no, it wasn't about her. I'm saying B. Simone's the type, you know, she wear the finger waves and the long nails and the drastic makeup.
But no, it was a B. Taylor video, and I think she had like Sexyy Red, and she was talking about whole culture. She was talking about Meg Thee Stallion and just a couple people, and she was just talking about you know, people always fall back on them. My daughters, and I don't know.
can you admit, Bree, that culture is associated with risky behavior, and not everybody wants that for their kids?
Yes, I do agree that a lot of the music and a lot of hood culture, but hood culture in itself is a high risk culture, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
My issue with it is that a lot of people aren't making decisions though to not raise your kids in the culture. It's a very reactive response. You
just don't look like that.
Yeah, you have kids when you can't afford a better life for them. You don't have a 2-parent home, or you're breaking them up. You're not paying money for private school, or you can't afford to move to a better district. Therefore, you are raising them in the culture, and then you're upset when they embody the culture. So that's my issue.
That's a good point. I'm
not going to shame people who can't help the environment they're in when they embody the said environment, because some people are going to not embody that, and some people are going to lean all the way in. Some dudes who raised in the hood didn't become gangsters, but a lot did because it was survival.
That's what was around. It
was, and it's a survival thing, right? So like that's my whole issue with it. It's very weird to hear people who like don't make decisions to not be in that culture flame the culture. It's weird because I came from that culture. Like I came from it. So like if I was still in the hood, or if my mom didn't do things to try to do things to focus our attention in other places, I could be a Sexyy Red. I could have very well been a Sexyy Red. You know what I mean? I grew up around people like Sexyy Red. So like, I don't feel ashamed about it, because it just feels like the people I grew up around, and a lot of them were cool people, good people.
And
kind of grew up in an environment. So I don't have a shame about it. And I don't really care for, it starts to feel like maybe these people who talking about it didn't really come from the actual culture. Like they're outside.
I get you.
In some way. There's not a humanity behind their criticism.
There's not, because like I said, we have a negative experience with that culture. So like I said, because I have these people in my family, those people, because I have ratchets, people that aspire to be ratchet in my family.
Right.
It's bothersome on a certain level. And we were born into poverty, Section 8, welfare, like just gangs, drugs, like born into that. A lot of us, even though we're outside of the culture you're speaking of, the hypersexual, the hyper verbal, the hyper accessorized, not all of us. Everything's doing the most. So it's the culture doing the most, and not everybody wanted to aspire to do the most. We might have been at that place of lack and scarcity that wanted us to be the most, but some of us, like you said, put our heads down, just wanted to work, just wanted the life. Some of us just wanted to be citizens. So it's like, I don't think everybody that's saying that is everybody that has a complaint. I don't think everybody's outside of it. They're trying to be outside of it. Like,
well, that's why we're trying to like a self-hate or a shame there, because like I got out of there, right? So like I clearly understand that you don't want to be there. This isn't me pushing being in the hood at all. So I understand the want and the desire to get out of there. But the different, now that I'm out, I don't look back on it with like, gross, this is terrible. Like I don't have this those negative feelings about it. So when I see it in other people, it don't bother me, because I know it's real. Like it is real. Like there are Sexyy Reds. There are supermodels. Like,
and we know it's real too. We know it's real. That's why we want to escape it, because we know it's real.
Right.
Now, our desire to escape it is not because we think it's fake or anything. It's because
that's what I'm saying. But it's the fact that when people see it commodified, it really, really bothers them. And even the modified version, it doesn't bother me. Like,
I get you, and I guess it's from a place of internalized hurt, because I can hear this and I can tweak it to relate it to women. Women often talk about having to sit across the table from their abuser, like at Thanksgiving, at family reunions, having to sit. This is like sitting across the table from your abuser. A lot of the times, like the people in our poverty is in our pain, in our upgrowing, we were hurt by a lot of these people that looked like and sounded like. And then like now everybody's wanting to be like our abuser. Everybody's wanting to dress like our abuser. Everybody's wanting to, listen to our abuser. Everybody's playing our abuser's music. So it's like, it's hurtful. Triggering. It's triggering. Yeah.
Right. It's triggering. So, and that's why I could tell the response is a very like trigger response. Yeah. And like a part of me does understand it, but then another part of me is like, I mean, it is the culture. I don't know. That's where I struggle sometimes. And I think we had in the Discord a conversation where I was talking to Inya, I think, about how I see like we started going into this kindred, they not like us kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I started talking about like they not like us because I think I've lived in different states. I've traveled to different states, and every state doesn't have a strong Black culture. Now, I think every state maybe has a poor Black area.
Yes.
Right.
But it may not have a culture.
Poor Black area, poverty. And it's going to be segregated usually. The poor usually still don't mix. I don't know if that's just a South thing. But I'm not going to say this everywhere thing, but I just know in the South here, like, people don't really mix, even though it's a lot of different races. Yeah. So I'm like, every area has a poor Black area, but there are some cities that have become kind of hubs of Black culture.
Yes.
And I think some people are not from those places, so the only experience they think they're experiencing the culture, but they're really just experiencing like poverty culture.
Yes.
And so maybe that makes it harder to have any funness for the reality of Black culture because you're not really experiencing those.
We're not getting a lot of good sides.
Yeah. You're
on
not
a regular basis.
Yeah. Or anything that could be a source of pride from it also.
Yeah. Yes. Because during that same conversation, I was able to pick out the pockets of happiness out of that culture. Like it was the cookouts, it was the family reunions, it was like going to the skating rink or going to like there were places where groups of us would gather where we had fun.
Right.
But we didn't associate it with Black culture. That was just us having fun. But now looking back on it, I can see specifically we look forward to being around a group of Black people that were not out to be destructive.
Right.
Like we're here for like Black people having fun is the highest level of fun there is on this planet.
Right.
There's nothing higher than a group of Black people that are out to have fun exclusively.
Having fun.
You'll never have more fun.
And if you share the same culture, the fun amplifies even more. Yes. Like I just love.
It's like a harmony.
Yeah. So I think that's also a part of it. Like, I'm from Atlanta, and Atlanta is like a Black cultural hub. Like there are different ones. It's not the only one, but it is a big one. Like, so I just feel like maybe my feelings about Black culture, the good with the bad, I take it all. Like I take it all. It's all a part of it. I look back at it, not saying I want to. I got out of there. I'm not raising my daughters in it. But then I also don't see the hood culture as a boogeyman that I'm like running from. Like, people are like, oh, because I know Inya asked me, like, do you want your daughters to be that way? I'm like, I'm not worried about my daughters being that way because they're not in that culture. Like, they're not in that culture. Of course, when they get older and they want to put on different aesthetics or selves and try out different things, they could run across that, and that is the hub, like Pornhub. But they could run across that and decide they want to put it on, but they may not. And Atlanta's New San Francisco. I mean, but it still is a hub for Black culture. And Black gay culture is a part of Black culture. Yeah. And specifically, the Atlanta Black gay culture is very influential on a lot of things. So you can feel how you want to feel, but Atlanta is a Black cultural hub. Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
And there are different ones.
Came to Black Mecca.
Yeah, there's like Cali has some, California. Yeah. And then New York. Like there's different hubs for Black culture, but no one's being like with a random ass state. Arkansas has Black culture. Like no one's going to Arkansas to get a pulse on the Black culture. So
Compton. Yep, Harlem.
Exactly, Harlem.
Yeah,
exactly.
DC was for a while. They call it Chocolate City.
Right.
Baltimore, Houston. There's some spots where Black people congregate. It gets a reputation.
Yeah, it's like incubating.
Not just on the negative side, but on the good side too. The good side too. Like every one of these places, you'll hear about the music, the art, the food, all those places. You'll hear about something.
Good sign that it's a hub for Black culture. If it's like music,
a specific dance.
Yep, specific dance, food, like the things that make a culture. And so I think Black people who maybe come from those specific areas maybe even have a whole different relationship with Blackness.
More holistic. Yeah, more holistic.
Because I'm used to walking around and not standing out because I'm Black.
Yeah.
And then when I went to Seattle, not that people treated me badly, but it was just like, damn, I'm the only Black people in here. Like, black person in here. That was weird. That was a weird experience for me. So I think Black people who are coming from those environments where you're walking outside and you may be the only Black person
have a stronger reaction.
Yeah, they're gonna look at that and be like, what the fuck y'all got going on over there?
Yeah. I can see that.
You know? So I don't know.
So then do you think your reaction to Sexyy Red and them is like maybe overpitched because you're reacting to people who are outside and you're reacting to people who have internalized hurt? So you're reacting to like 3 different groups of people reacting?
Yeah, I mean, I'm at this point, I'm almost like Kendrick. Like, y'all not like us. Just stay over there. Like, there's also like a suburban Black culture too that is very valid. Yep. And like, I mean, you talk about like shows like Blackish and stuff. So like they have their own different set of things and things they may have never seen, even though they're Black. And I just get sick of Black being a blanketed statement because a Black person from suburbia, while they still have a lot of the maybe systemic struggles that people in the hood have, they may not have seen some of the shit that you see coming from the hood. Like all Black people aren't from the hood.
Or not.
All Black people don't know a Sexyy Red. All Black people haven't seen a Sexyy Red.
Crayon apple juice culture. That's true. That might be a good one.
Right. Is your reaction and Bree's reaction to their reaction open to my reaction? So I always feel like I be want to ask people like, where you from? What's your reaction? Yeah, what's your reaction? And also, what is your reaction? But it's just not. I be like, is this really triggering like hood rats being hood rats? I mean, but okay, Bree, but like, cause I know, I get it. They're hood rats being hood rats, but they're being hood rats for the world to see. It's like airing your dirty laundry. Yeah, it's our dirty laundry, and that's why I'm just like, it's our dirty laundry. Like these people existed. When we had this conversation, I said the only thing I am maybe like pro gatekeeping. Yeah, like maybe gatekeeping is the issue more so than these archetypes existing. Okay,
so then let me add this to it too. I know we're throwing a lot into the pot, and I guess we can stick on whatever we stick on. But there's also like you said, the inability to gatekeep also brings up feelings in us. Like the fact that the rest of us who may have tried to rise up from that station, who've tried to present class, who've tried to be a higher caliber individual, to raise our frequencies, to do the self-work, to elevate and get on a new level. I'm on a new level.
Black excellence.
All that stuff.
Is what I'm feeling.
Black excellence. Yes, like, all that. Black excellence. Good. Black excellence. All of us who strive to be young, Black, and gifted.
Right.
And then it's like, I still don't have the ability to stop that from rising up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't keep the sewage from backflowing. It's like, so then there's that negativity. That's a problem too.
Right.
Like, so I mean, that's gonna cause emotional reactions as well. The fact that I can't stop it, because I keep hearing people all over the internet and the radio talking about like what we have to, like, we can't allow people to appropriate our culture. I'm like, how you gonna stop anybody? You don't know. We don't own anything.
And the world's becoming more global too, where things are blending and like cross. What do you mean? How I'm gonna bring up gatekeeping? How are the two related? Where Black people congregate is related to gatekeeping. I don't understand. I'm not understanding your train of thought to like what I'm saying, because what I'm saying, those are two, like, Black culture used to be more of a gate. It was more gatekeeping. Like, you wouldn't see women twerking unless you went to a cookout or a party, or before the internet became a thing. Like, some of these aspects of our culture that like maybe everybody didn't like, but were just a part of it, you wouldn't see unless you were engaging with Black people or like in a Black area or something like that, right? So like it just used to be like that. Yeah. But now it's not. So everybody can see it. Yeah, so everybody can see it. It's just on display. And with that comes a lot of attention. And not just from people in the area anymore. It's people in different countries looking at us. It's people in different states. Yeah. So I think that makes a lot of Black people uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable for sure.
Yeah, there's no context. Definitely. It's like no context, but you're just witnessing it.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of different. I think there's a lot of different aspects to it. I think there was another one, but it slipped my mind. But it's like there's so many feelings that arise even in me when I see this stuff. But part of it is like I understand, like you said, it's just how people are, and that's how people choose to be, and that has to be okay on a certain level too, because how much am I willing to do to change their circumstances so that they don't want that? Like, so if that's
what I be saying, like,
yeah,
hood's gonna exist, poor people gonna exist, people in survival mode are gonna exist. Like, I think it's unrealistic to call people to be something else. Yeah. If you understand the what is creating them, that like, I mean, I don't want that for them, but like, it's kind of a cause and effect thing, kind of the way I see it. And you know, when it comes, he brought up Tyler, and that's the other thing, like this whole idea, like, my pet peeve is the coding of Black. Everything is Black, because like some people say Tyler's appropriate. I'm like, she's doing South African dances. Like, we can't even, like, everybody just think everything is Black. And then stuff that's not even an issue becomes issues.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, it's just weird to me. It's just weird.
But it's hard, but we don't have the language to separate it. We don't have language because we call, like, because truthfully,
everything Black.
Like, Tyler is Black because she's a descendant, she's an African descendant that's melanated. So she's Black. So there's that race Black.
Racially.
That is, there's the racial Blackness that was established by white people. Then there's the Blackness that we feel as U.S. citizens, a descendant of slaves, most likely, but we don't know for sure. Most of us don't know. We feel a certain Blackness because we know we're American citizens, but we don't feel like we have the same citizenship as when people say American, they're never thinking us. Nobody pictures us when they say American. Everybody knows they picture Brad or Bill or there's Chad or there's a guy that they picture, and it's a guy. When you say American, there's a specific type of guy, and if you do say a girl, there's a way that you picture the girl too. And it's never a Black man and a Black woman, a Black boy, a Black girl. So it's whiteness, like Ann Coulter talked about. America is synonymous with waspness.
Yeah.
So because of that, we know we're not American by the dominant culture, by most people in this country. We're not American. We're citizens, but we're not American. So we become Black here too. So we're Black, as you said, Black American. So I can accept that. But as a shorthand, we're going to say Black. So then how do you differentiate? We're not going to go around saying Black American.
Well, because
both are Black. There's Black race and Black nationality.
And that's some of my issue with it. Like, the reason we call ourselves Black is because we don't know where the fuck we came from because of the effects of slavery, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm something else, I'm going to call myself something else. Like, if you talk to most people who are from other places, they're not going to say I'm Black. They're going to say I'm Moroccan, and then I'm this, and then I'm that. We say Black because we don't know where the fuck we from. It's
Spicy like, Black.
Like, we don't know where the fuck our ancestors, we don't know where we come from. That's why we Black.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to call Tyler Black. She's South African.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Even when you start talking about white versus, okay, like you deal with people who come from other countries, they don't call themselves white.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
like
Italian,
maybe,
I'm Irish, I'm Germanic,
they're this or that. So, I mean, we don't need to call Tyler Black. She's South African. And if she doesn't identify as Black, that's valid.
Yeah.
Because she's from South Africa. She's not American.
But
therefore, Black has
lady regardless.
So, you know, I just don't.
Welcome, Paul Jenkins.
Hello. So that's what I'm saying. It started getting weird. Like, cue to Kendrick. They not like us. Like, we need to start really talking about what is what And black isn't a placeholder. I'm not trying to figure out shit. I'm black. Period. Yeah. Period. My grandmama from here, my great grandmama from here, my other grandmama from Alabama, her grandmama from Alabama, her grandmama from Alabama. Somebody grandmama was a fucking slave. I don't need to figure shit out.
Yeah.
If it ain't close enough for me to know, it don't fucking matter. So
I get it. But I think it's causing confusion. Like the inability to articulate the difference between things is what leads to the confusion that we're having. Yeah. Like even the inability to articulate what Sexyy Red is in relationship to the culture is part of the, like, we don't have an ability to differentiate. And I think that's like we're lacking a tool. We're lacking a tool to properly sort and separate things so that people don't know, because otherwise we feel a way about things. And if we don't know how to sort the way we feel, we're stuck in a nebulous mind state. You know, we end up with a mental health problem because we can't sort our feelings. That's a problem. Yeah. So if we can't sort the people, we can't sort our feelings.
Right. Yeah. I think we do intellectually feel more so than go based off language that could be useful, to be very clear. Mm-hmm. It's like how I do my budget. I feel it out, you know?
Yeah. See?
I said that. I was like, I'm a feeler. Yeah. I'd be like, this feels like a $300 cart. Yeah. You know? So I'm going grocery shopping. I'm like, this feels like $200.
But that's what we're doing. When the rest of us see Sexyy Red on television, we're like, this feels expensive. This feels like this is going to cost me more than it should.
Right.
We're feeling. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
It feels like I'm going to get out. Like,
I'm going to pay for this later. I'm going to pay for this somehow. I don't know how. But I'm going to pay for her twerking.
This feels.
Somebody's going to look at me and think like, "Oh, you're one of them," and I'm going to be like, "No."
I'm over budget. And I mean, and that's like, it's not lost upon me the effects that the negative aspects of the culture have on me. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't me saying the negative effects of this being out is not real. I mean, we know that. You're muted for some reason.
I'll say you're not negating the reality. I'm
not negating the reality. I don't need to negate the reality of it, because I'm a black woman. I've gone to different places that are outside of the cultural hubs, right? Yeah. So like, for instance, when I'm in Atlanta, I feel like in Atlanta, I think how people interact with me is more neutral.
Okay.
Like when I'm here, I think I get more neutral interactions with people.
Okay.
White.
So for you,
black. Yeah.
So for you, your thing is you understand the realities of how this plays culturally and in the more dominant society.
Yeah.
And you've resolved that within yourself and don't have any negative feelings there. This is what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't have any control over it. So why would I carry negative feelings about it?
Yeah. I mean, I know the aspects
of it. Sexyy Reds are real, and how people feel about it are real. And then I'm okay with it, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I've actually
community is suffering.
No, I've actually experienced people who are way outside of the culture also treat me. That's what I was gonna get to. Like when I'm in Atlanta, I feel like I get more of neutral treatment. But when I lived in Seattle, for example, I've dated other races. I've talked about this. Mm-hmm. I've dated foreigners. I've dated people from outside of America. And I sat at a party one time with some people from another country, and they were just asking me questions, and the assumptions were crazy as fuck, because all they see are Beyonce,
those examples,
or the
media. It's in the media.
So I've experienced that negative outcome, but as I talked and I was there and I interacted with them, they're like, "Oh, you're not like that." And it wasn't even didn't even take months. It was the same party.
Yeah. It was exposure.
Yeah, it was exposure. It wasn't even like long-term exposure. It was just like one day. Oh, I actually get to sit in a room with a real black person. Like, wow.
You're a myth buster.
I'm a myth buster. That's what's up. To some degree, like, I just find it hard to be really like, it's creating a wall that I can't overcome, or like my daughters are gonna turn into whores when they hit 13, like because of Sexyy Red. Like I'm sorry, it's hard to get me riled up.
And see, but I get what you're saying, and you're right. I don't think people are gonna say this is like this is where I say I think your reaction to our reaction is maybe is like paralleling our reaction to Sexyy Red. Like we're experiencing the negative effects of this culture being promoted. A lot of us are. Like we see it in our kids. We see like our kids being lost. We see our cousins. So like you may not lose your kids, but some of us may not have the same type of community or house family control. What's that mean?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
What's that fight? I would say some of us don't have the same kind of family structure where we don't feel confident that we're not going to lose our kids to that. Like, I remember the first time my little sister came into the house, my grandmother's house. We were walking in and she had her headphones on and was listening to TLC. Had to the back. I gotta get my pants down real low. That's the kind of girl that I am. My grandmother like, what you doing? Take that off. What you taking your pants down low for? But like my people that I know, like my sister, they gravitated towards that type of lifestyle. They it was just attractive. So if you make negative things attractive, it's like, you know, the whole Eve and the apple, Adam and the apple. You know, if you make something appealing, hey, you know what? Maybe you should think about this over here. And everybody in your family, like, hey, stay away from that. Stay away from that. Don't touch that. You'll be good. Don't come home pregnant. Don't be coming home with no diseases. Stay away from that. But they're making music to make it sound good. I'm trying to get bust down, pound town, go another round. I mean, but you make it appealing. You're gonna want to bite the apple. It's hard. It's hard. Influences. I think nobody really wants to give respect to how difficult it is to resist influence, but we're all susceptible to it. All of us have seen a commercial. All of us have heard a commercial or seen a commercial that made us want to go buy something or try something. Every single, we're so susceptible.
Influence is a real thing. I think a lot of what you're talking about is reactionary for me. Okay. I think a lot of people are late on the uptick, like they're behind the curve. They're late. You're already behind. You've missed the bus. When people start to try to correct. And typically the correction only comes once the person has their own autonomy or own wants and desires and they're different from yours. And now you want to correct. But there's so much that could be done before you even get there to help offset influence. Influence works, but sense of self and self-worth also correlate with how easily influenced you are. I mean, that's just how easily. Like everybody gets influenced. Like I get influenced to buy shit all the time, but like because I like to shop though. But like, so I open myself up to be influenced in that way. But you know, there's research about ways to keep girls out of high-risk sexual behaviors and things like that are not about lecturing or hiding them from the world. It's about things you can actively put in them to help offset the desire, understanding child psychology, the need for acceptance. Okay, kids are gonna need to be accepted when they hit this age. Okay, if I don't do anything to actively find a community for them to find their acceptance in, they're going to find acceptance in the community they're in. So that's gonna turn into peer pressure, or I'm gonna look outside. They stop looking to you generally, and they will look outside of themselves and put on different identities and decide who they want to be. And so, if you're in the hood, there's hood rats there. If they're constantly chronically online, there's going to be they're going to see the Sexyy Reds. If they're, so I understand how this comes in, you know what I mean? And how a lot of girls do end up just doing the hypersexual thing. But to that, I say a lot of the parents ain't doing shit. A lot of parents are reactionary. Now, let's not say not doing shit because they overwhelm, but a lot of parents are reacting too late and not understanding that need.
So then let me rebut that a little bit, because I want to say, like, there's a couple of factors at least that are problems with what you're saying. Because you started off like, you need to understand how to feel them. We don't have a culture that has any safeguards. So we don't have anything to put in them right now. Like right now, we don't have anything substantive to fill that void, especially when we're starting with broken families. That's the baseline. Foundation that we're starting with is broken families. So we don't have two parents in almost every single one of these households. secondarily, you talked about like the psychology of affirmation and assurance.
Child development.
Mm-hmm. We don't have child psychologists in the hood. We don't have a plethora of that knowledge. Like there's a dearth of, there's not like, we have lack. And part of that lack is knowledge in the hood.
Right.
Because these people like that are,
That's so like that's a form.
Yeah, I guess you understand it, but I just want to put it on wax. Like there are barriers to doing, which is effective. What you're saying is effective.
Yeah.
But we don't have the knowledge to be effective in that way. And then lastly, when we're talking about hypersexualization, I know some of these guys, I have to just by the numbers, but most of our kids are sexually activated through what they've seen, heard, or experienced as a child through neighbors, friends, and family. So there's a culpability the adults, the men and the women that look out for these kids or around these kids by not protecting them from sexual. I mean, because a lot of our children have been sexually assaulted. So like it's hard to. I don't want to just be like, okay, the environment, and if we affirm them and tell them all this wonderful stuff, and I get you. I'm not saying I'm not making any claim that you've said any of this.
Right.
I'm just speaking to the overall problems that we have, because in our community, I don't understand it myself. I can't relate to it. I don't understand people that want to harm their own children or I don't understand child predation. I can't tap into that mindset at all. It's one of those
things we need to understand.
It's weird.
More so than we need.
I think we need. You can't fix what you can't understand.
Because some of them are just fucked up, and even in psychology, even in the realm of psychology, you can't fix them. Like some of them are just like that dark is just triad. Like it's just they fucked up. We don't know why. We may never understand. That's what I mean. Like we may never understand.
And okay.
I think.
And how would you like? But we need to know enough to know. To scope it out and what to do with it. That's what we need. We need that knowledge. We need at least, because we right now we don't have enough knowledge.
You know what they look like.
Something. Yeah.
But one of my
still getting harmed at an exceedingly high rate.
My fiery statement in Discord was the same motherfuckers shaming Sexyy Red and talking shit about them, the same ones who protect the uncles.
Yep.
At the barbecue. So that's why I really don't give a fuck what they have to say, because it doesn't feel like the issue is what it is, because the same generation that pushed a lot of this respectability churchianity that people are saying is so great hid the fucking uncles that is contributing to the hypersexual behavior.
Yeah.
And then shame the hypersexuality.
Yeah.
And then shame the hypersexual child for being fast, but the fastness came from the uncle you hiding.
Mm-hmm.
So like these two cultures.
But like you said, that's why it's a part of the culture, because all of this is baked into it. These are the behaviors of the people.
It's a feedback.
It's like, man.
So it's weird to me. Like you're right, and that's why I'm saying I understand how these girls and kids become hypersexual. I understand the loop. It's just weird when people just pick one part of the loop to just harp on. Like you just picking one part of the loop. You're not trying to fix the loop. You're not trying to fix it. They're just like, these hypersexual people. And it's like, well, you can do things to curb hypersexuality, but y'all ain't doing none of that.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't doing none of that. We know team sports can help. Like, and yes, the people who are already victims of circumstance, maybe they don't have the tools. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not expecting those people to have the tools. But the people who you want to come and comment about it and shame people about it, like, okay, so have you learned how you're going to actually keep your child from being that? Besides just yelling at her about don't put the fucking clothes on, don't shake your ass. Have you actually figured out how to? Because
lectures did not work for us. Lectures were not effective.
Lectures don't fucking work. And usually the thing you harp on is the only thing they know. They only pay attention to.
Yeah, because you make us focus on it. Like, why is this such a big deal? Why? I want to go find out why this is such a big deal.
You don't want me to be hypersexual, but every time I leave the house, you think I'm trying to fuck somebody. Well, shit. Maybe I should be fucking somebody. Something wrong with me? Because I wasn't even thinking about it. Like, it's just that's where I don't really have a lot of empathy for it.
Yeah,
like acting like you're just passive and your kids just wake up one day and just be ain't shit. Like, it's just weird to me.
Yeah,
it don't come out of nowhere. It don't come out of nowhere. That's my whole.
Nah, it doesn't. Nah, it doesn't come out of nowhere. And again, it wouldn't persist if we didn't if we didn't
contribute
like it. Yeah, we didn't contribute it. We're perpetuating it in some capacity. We keep
and
this
then
going.
hate it. You see it like. I think that's why it's triggering. They like still. We still twerking at red lights.
So let me ask you this question, because here's another, I guess, another thing that I think maybe emotionally bothers us. Yeah. Like, so this is like we say it's the worst of our culture, but part of us we be in the car bopping to it sometimes. We don't want our kids to listen to it, but we be in the car.
I definitely be bopping to it.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm saying, like, for the people that complain about it, like, we know some of us will be like, okay, but that song right there, that's my song. But I would never buy their stuff. I don't ever buy their stuff, but I still listen, which it's still getting spins or rotations. It might be on a playlist, but even worse than that, when it goes outside of our culture, other people like it.
Yeah, they like it.
So does that also make us feel? Do you think from somebody that's not in the complainer? Do you think maybe that nags us, like all the work I'm doing to elevate myself, but people value that above all the work that I'm doing? Because
it's valid. Because only 15 years ago, we was a caricature. It's still a caricature, but it was like a completely negative. Like you were shamed for it. You couldn't wear your natural hair to work. You couldn't wear the nails. Like, I mean, in a lot of our lifetimes, it was still not seen as cute or trendy. Yeah. So yeah, like I totally get the saltiness about it or the bitterness. Yeah. Like Marc Jacobs got, nails this long now. White man with money. White dude. Just cigarette nails, So like I could see that being triggering for people who were shamed and called hood rats, for it. Like I get it. It's a valid emotion. My problem is that people are literally complaining about it while doing the shit that ends up that gets you there though. Like it's crazy to me. Like not B. Taylor is successful, but for instance, like if she wasn't, like let's just say you can't make 6-7 figures, blah 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 blah. You don't get a successful career, but you have multiple kids by yourself. That's high
high risk behavior.
You gotta beat the odds. And that's not to say you can't, but why set yourself up to have to beat all the odds to be okay?
So your biggest complaint is that the people who are trying to police the expression are still performing the behaviors that lead to that expression. Yeah. Like this, the single motherness,
it's a lot. It's beyond
poverty.
Sometimes even the parenting style, like the parenting style of nagging all the time, or the high criticism, or the hypersexualizing kids. Sexualizing kids way too early. Like it's more than beyond just being a single parent. It's just like,
got you.
That's why I was saying, like when I called that old lady a slave, I should find it. But it's a lot of that. Like it's so crazy to me that a lot of the shit y'all don't like is part of the culture y'all think is the answer.
Yeah.
Like, these kids in jail, bitch. Millennials didn't build jails and put niggas in them.
You're right, because everything that I know about B. Taylor plays into the whole dynamic anyway. Like, other than being like ratchet, like she still does all the stuff. Like she's been, she's been sexual. Maybe not hypersexual, but she's been sexual.
Sexuality, her look.
Sexual, like,
yeah. She's just not twerking. She's not like Meg.
Yeah, the hypergamy, all of it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I'll just be like,
I get you. There's a lot of, like you say, like Missy said, there's a lot of phoniness. There's a lot of hypocrisy.
It's a lot of weirdness too, or like what. Yeah. And I know a lot of people are overwhelmed and don't actually know like how to protect. Like I remember Inga was asking me that, like, do you let your kids listen? I'm like, I don't take my kids to inappropriate spaces. I think I am open, so I'm not trying to hide from things. So if I want to twerk, I'm a fucking twerk. I'm not gonna go on live and twerk. Gotcha. But I be in the house shaking my ass, and my kids may witness. I don't care. Like most of the time, my kids are suburban brats. Okay, my kids are suburban brats. My oldest child, I be sitting here listening to Meg Thee Stallion. She be in the kitchen like, like she don't connect to the music because she don't come from where I come from. Right. Yeah. She listen to fucking jazz and like bossa nova and shit. Like that's what she likes. She's artsy. Like she's an artsy girl. Dope. But that goes back to what I'm saying about instilling something in them so that when they get to that age where they need to find belonging, they can have something else to find belonging in than shaking their ass at a red light.
Yeah. Okay.
You know? So like she ain't trying to do this. She's trying to put on like cute shit and like I don't even know. She be doing her own thing.
She's her own person.
She her own person. She's not
so
like
she doesn't have to take on somebody else's person to feel fulfilled.
Not even me.
Yeah, that's dope.
In all ways. Like she like anime, of course. We share that. But I mean, she thinks some of the music I like is ghetto.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. Yeah. But like you said, there's nothing wrong with that. That's where it's from. That's what
she knows where I'm from too. I'd like we would drive her through my old neighborhood and stuff. You know, she knows where I'm from. Oh, I don't know if you want to come up.
That's what I'm wondering. I was just gonna ask.
Yeah.
Okay. Yellow. What up, player?
Yeah. Hey, Yellow.
What's goody?
I was gonna say before we bring them in, but that's what my parents did to me. I remember my uncle who so dope. Past tense. So dope. Used to take us through like where he came up and stuff like that. And like my mom did that. She's from Wyandanch. If you're like from New York or Long Island, like I don't know, but most people like, ooh, Wyandanch. So like she took us there when we would go visit my grandma in Long Island. She got out of that neighborhood. But my mom would take us back and be like, this is where I'm from. And my dad did the same. My uncle did it. I do it to my kids. My husband do it. We roll through the neighborhood and be like, this is where we from. So when you hear me listening to T.I., like,
just know,
that's why I'm not pretending. I'm not listening to T.I. because somebody told me to listen to T.I. Like,
gotcha,
I'm listening to it because this is where I'm from and it connects to me.
Yeah, you're not a visitor. You're not a transplant. I got you.
Yeah.
The import.
Yeah.
I get it. It's hard to differentiate though, like because there is like I guess there's too many parts in this one, like to actually like to solve for anything, because you have complete outsiders who are consuming it merely as entertainment product
with no context.
And some of those people, with no context, but they don't need any because they're only listening to it as entertainment.
Yeah, they just like
it. And the aesthetic, maybe they'll put it on, maybe they'll take it off, like Marc Jacobs. It's purely so. It's like some people, it's purely artificial, superficial. And there's no deeper meaning to it,
right?
And some of those people are even Black American, and we can't tell, and won't know until somebody actually is living a life that verifies, oh, you've adopted these values, which are probably not a healthy set of values. So
that's what Kendrick was saying. They not like us. Like we've started to think everybody like us because maybe they just like the aesthetic. And I think the reason I can like not take it so like crazy is because I like Harajuku aesthetic. I'm not Japanese. I ain't lived over there. I ain't went through what them Japanese ladies went through. Right. But I like the aesthetic and like, you know, so I don't have the context, but I also try to respect it to some degree. Like I try, but I'm sure I'm going to slip up or there could be some people who like, you're taking our movement and putting it on as an aesthetic and like, I mean, I think that's just globalization is going to create that. I don't think it's something we can stop. I think the more everything blends, people just going to be like, I like that. Let me put that on. Yeah.
That's been the history of humanity. Like, I don't think we could, everything that we actually associate with a culture and a country is probably from somewhere else that they got it from, but we associated with them.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like, this is European, this is African, well, that might have gotten, I mean, the Silk Road, a lot of stuff transmitted and changed.
It all mixed up together and stuff. A lot of stuff, nothing's pure anymore. Because I was saying the Harajuku girls were inspired by the Hood Rats.
Dawn.
And now the Hood Rats
is being recycled. It's being recycled.
Girls. So it's not even like, I mean, nothing's pure anymore.
You're getting your own food fed back to you. It's like the Matrix. It's the Matrix. It's the Matrix.
Yeah, when the people get put down,
the people get liquefied, they get fed back into the next. It's the Matrix.
It's control. I don't know if Yellow want to come in before we get to the control, or I say my take on it. I don't know. Yellow.
Nope. Let's keep going.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I think it is a control because I don't think people are in control of their own life, so they want to control everything else. Like I think if you really have learned to control your own life and become in control of yourself, that doesn't mean perfect, but like you feel like you generally are in control of your life to some degree. I don't think you feel the need to control things you can't control as much. I think that's like an anxious response. I will stand by that. I think that need to control things that are uncontrollable is some weird anxiety response.
Yeah. I think some of it is born like people, we know our mistakes and we get nervous when we see somebody making the same mistakes we make. So we actually simultaneously get judged like, but you did that. Why are you shaming me for doing it? It's like, I don't want you to do what I did. But a lot of us, I'll say for the Gen Xers, a lot of us won't like be vulnerable and say why we did what we did so that we could address the actual underlying condition that's going to drive somebody else to make the same decision. So like, I was really hurt and I was really lonely. So I did this thinking it would fill my loneliness, but this and this and this. We don't actually take the time to be vulnerable. You're never going to get that. To let the next generation know, like, okay, this is why I know this is not going to solve your problem, except for maybe temporarily. But
and that's more impactful too if you can't actually do that. I know there was this older woman who like always was like, I'm like, you just stay lecturing, don't do this, and I'd be like, but then when I ask you, you a saved woman and you ain't never had your box A and you don't be out here fucking and you don't be out here doing shit. You got 4 kids, like you ain't out here doing shit though. So girl, like, I mean, but then one day she was really transparent and told her story, and it was more impactful. Like, okay, I understand not only the advice you're giving, but why maybe even if you're being hyper vigilant in this area, I know why. Understand you better. And you don't just sound like an old nagging crazy lady. You sound like a person who's been hurt and like that.
Thank you.
Driving. A human. Yes. And now I can give you like grace.
Yes.
It's so much better.
And then it helps you even know how to ask for grace. From them when they're stuck in that anxious mind that wants to control. Like, listen, I know what you're thinking, and I'm doing this and this for this reason, so you don't have to worry about this. And a lot of times, if they show up a human, which is hard for Gen Xers and above, I know it. It's too much pride built in.
Right.
It's too much like I shouldn't have to explain myself. Like that's a lessening of who I am to explain myself. So that's dope. Yeah, I like that.
They be getting on my nerves. I be trying, but
we be trying.
Millennials got our own problems, but damn, I just be like, y'all, and I still feel like, I mean, but it's millennials complaining about Sexyy Red. This isn't just older generation.
No. So I think y'all inherited some of our feelings about this stuff. Yeah. So I think, but I also think it's okay to just not like it. But I don't think not liking it leads to the behavior that you're talking about.
Yeah.
The hyper reaction.
It ain't for everybody. Like, I'm not fucking listening to Ice Spice. Like, okay, wait, a couple songs. But I'm not finna listen to the album. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna right. I mean, so I'm just saying I don't like all of this music. I don't like everybody who comes out. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I don't also feel it. We gotta have a come to Jesus Black community. Black Pan-African, let's go to Dr. Umar school moment every time the BET Awards come on and Sexyy Red come out. Like, damn, like.
Nah, I don't think it's got to be all that. But I think people are trying to reconcile who they are. Nope. I think people are trying to reconcile who they are in the world, who they are within themselves, and we haven't figured it out because the gender wars have taught us that. We don't even know who we are as men and women. Like we have not figured out. We're having an identity crisis. Child. So every time I think something threatens that, you jumping in or not? Or you just wanted to come up here and be seen with your confused face?
Yeah, you're gonna have to just kind of get your big toe in.
If I want to jump in the conversation, y'all know I ain't got that problem.
He listening.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm double dutching. I'm waiting for the rope to go where I can jump in.
I got you.
But no, so I mean, but if Ice Spice come on though, if Twan wanted to go to a concert and she was one of the acts, when her songs come on, probably gonna shake my ass. Like, there's also the other thing, like there's time and space, there's time and place for most things. I don't think most people have time and place privilege, sometimes because of finances or just mental, whatever. I don't think a lot of people have the privilege of crafting their life to have space to be who they want to be. Yeah. So maybe that's a privilege. Yeah, I think that's a privilege probably. So because I have the ability to do that, if I want to shake my ass, I can go find an appropriate space to go do that. And y'all will never fucking see it unless Twan posted or something.
They don't make good music in my ear. Yeah, and that's totally fair because my ears, some of it hits. Some of it don't.
Some don't. Most of it don't.
Most of it don't. Most of it don't.
I like the Barbie song. If Munch come on, I might have to. It's cute. It be
salad don't do it for
That's about it though. So yeah. Do I like Ice Spice? That's what I'm saying. It's like
now Mr. He said, I like a word salad. I was up here bumping a song I didn't even know it was word salad for like 20 years. You had to put me on. That song didn't have a matching lyric.
He didn't ruin Lucchini for us.
He ruined Lucchini. He was like, look, he walked me into the shoe store and was like, look, not one of these shoes in the box got a mate. Like, why you in here shopping? I was like, oh man, ain't not one right foot got a left foot. What's this about? I've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, run them up.
Sometimes you just vibe into a song and that's okay.
Man,
that don't mean
I was just in there like, I like these boxes. These are some nice boxes.
It be cute. Get a few drinks with me. Have me at a club. Like, Sexyy, come on. I'm tired using my shit. Are you kidding me?
Right. That's kind of where Bree right though. Like it's a time and a place for that, right? But I think everybody needs to understand the time and the place. It's like they don't understand. Some people don't understand the time and the place. You can't Sexyy Red all day, all damn day. You can't Sexyy Red all damn day.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think some of these people have context, and that's why I get to what is Black? What is your actual experience with Black culture? Because I think some of this is just like suburban people, like some of these people who coming from other countries who saying they Black, and they watch other people who have commodified twerking, because Sexyy Red gets paid to be Sexyy Red now. So they're watching them and they trying to do what she doing, but they're not getting paid for it. But if you're from the culture, the place to shake your ass is at a party. The place to shake your ass is at the cookout. The place to shake your ass is at the birthday bash. Mm-hmm. So it's the lack of context that they don't have. They're just putting on an aesthetic. They don't have no context, and they don't have any places to express the culture.
Context and nuance is very much anti-Black though.
We don't do context and nuance, so we're intellectual.
We don't. We don't. Context and nuance get yeeted out the window when they come up.
Because Tyler Black.
Right.
Very food.
Tyler Black. Hold on. Tyler Black, but Drake ain't. Think about it.
I'm like, Tyler is not Black. Why was people so upset when she said I'm not Black? She's not American.
But she's successful. See, here's how that works. Because I know you was like, what's your experience of being Black? Now, my experience of being Black is that I noticed that Black people pick and choose who can be Black and when they can be Black. Mm-hmm. So it's the we can put out they not like us, but y'all claim so many people that ain't like us before. You know what I'm saying? What's the problem now?
Specifically for Kendrick, I think that was his point. I think Kendrick was saying what you're saying, kind of like we've been claiming all these people.
His dad
is probably I was gonna say his mama white, so to me Drake. But I'm on that, so I don't know. I'm not trying to say, but I mean, I think we haven't been it hasn't been specific, and that's why I know me and Yella have had that conversation in the past, like when we were watching a lot of that Manosphere stuff, and y'all know me, I was like, why is this Dominican chick from Dominican Republic talking about Black American shit? Or when the Brick Lady came out, I was like, these are fucking Africans. Like African, even when we still was like, okay, this is probably a lie, but let's pretend it's true. Like African niggas be going upside women's heads, so like it is a difference.
Because she can be black. Brick Lady can be black when it's time to drag black men.
Exactly, and that was
you see what I'm saying.
That's what Kendrick was saying. I think that's his point. Like a lot of what we've taken in a lot of people claiming black to behaviors and taking it on as us. And what is us? What actually is us?
But that's the point, though. We're not us. We're not even in a position to dictate who the fuck we are because we don't have an origin. So for him to be like, they not like us, nigga, who is us?
I think he started to establish what he meant by us. I feel like when I listened to the song, Kendrick did a good job of establishing what he means when he says us. But for the average black person, I don't think the average black person has an us. It's just brown skin.
We have different us's.
We all black.
Because Kendrick ain't your average black person. So he ain't like us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's not like us here.
He ain't like us.
He not like me because he from over there.
Right. He ain't like us, but he from Compton. He ain't like niggas from Chicago.
But that was his point.
Right. But he's also
pronouns.
He's also calling. He is essentially the pot calling the kettle black.
We them that.
Because I'm saying the idea is that Drake is soft.
Right.
Well, what type of hardness has Kendrick showed?
Well, I wouldn't take the whole message of the song as Drake is soft. I took the whole message of the song as Drake is from outside of the United States. When Drake wants to pretend, when Drake wants to pretend to be black, like a black American, he goes to different places where the culture exists in America, and still
don't all black people do that? Don't all black people do that?
A lot of people do.
Yeah,
a lot of us.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right,
I'm not saying. I'm just saying because you were saying the point is that he's soft. I was just saying I think it was more nuanced. The point of the song was when he wants to put on black culture, he knows where to go in America to go get that in cosplay. He's the people Rashawn's talking about. I want to put it on. I don't have the context. I like the aesthetic. I like this. I like that. I'm gonna put it on. And I'm not against that. I don't care. I think that's part of being global.
But Drake is not reaching too far outside of who he actually is on a biological level to reach for that. He is black. His dad is black. So he has black in him. So he's not a white. Hold on. He's not a white person reaching over to the black side. He's black though.
But he's half. Yeah. You can't like completely be
okay.
Like, well,
so that's
black,
so that's
not white.
But that's what I'm saying.
The meaningless and distractive. We're about the meaningless and distractive yellow.
Exactly. It becomes meaningless and distractive because then that says that because his mom is white, he can't be black. But if his mom was black, then he can be black. That's why I say the shit is dumb on its surface level. Because black is black is black is black is black.
On surface, but like we said, black people don't do nuance. So let's be nuanced. Because there's black as a race, but because we're American, like I was talking to Rashawn earlier, we just say black. We mean culturally and sometimes we mean racially. But people who are not from America don't have that problem. So while Drake is maybe like he's racially black, let's just say he's racially black. I mean, I see him as mixed. But he's racial. Let's just say he's racially black. He's choosing to identify as black. That's fine. That's cool. Whatever. But culturally, he may not share some of the American cultural blackness because he's from Canada. Right. But Canada has a black culture. Like I know
copies a lot of ours.
Which probably copies a lot of ours.
Probably that recycling.
Right. Or the people came from, maybe originally they came from America, so some of it just went.
I was going to say, what do you think the black people in Canada came from?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not
running north. Us running north.
Not on the other side of the planet, y'all. Like, I'm literally 4 hours away from Canada. I can drive there. You feel what I'm saying?
But I mean, but nuance wise, he's not a black American. He's not a black American. He did not grow up in the black American culture.
Technically, he would be an American because Canada is in North America. So he would be an American.
But like nationally, he's Canadian.
Yes, nationalism.
So he did not grow up in black American culture. That is factual. Like you say, black people
United States of America,
right? Like,
right. Now, if you talking about he didn't grow up in United States, Black American culture, I would still argue that he's in Toronto. He's not like in the upper echelon of Canada. He ain't in that part of Canada where ain't nothing marked on the map. You know how they be like, you start getting past like that middle part, and then you be like, okay, well, shit, we damn near the North Pole. Don't nobody live here but bears. You know what I'm saying? He ain't from that part of Canada.
He's not in a black cultural hub where the black culture is incubated, or there's so many black people that it has its own. It's affecting the black culture as a whole. Like we talked about that earlier, like Compton, Harlem, and Atlanta, the Chicago. Like there are these areas where there's enough black people in the area where the culture is somewhat preserved, and then it becomes kind of a post point of the culture, and it all kind of gets integrated or whatever. So it is valid to say that Drake, culturally, is not from the same culture I'm from, or you're from, or he's from Canada. Mm-hmm. And there's a black culture probably in Toronto, but it's not ain't nobody checking.
It's not what we would recognize. I think they have a Carabana up there, but that's like related to some Caribbean importation. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of different components of this, and I don't think there is a real way to, like, there's no way. This is the problem with identity crisis. There's no real way to settle this amongst different people, because me, you, and Yella all have a different idea of this relationship with blackness. Like, because Yella was just talking about the whole thing, and I was listening to you. You was talking about the mom. I'm like, the mom doesn't matter to me. Like, Drake putting on his black patchwork is the same as President Obama going to the black churches and singing Amazing Grace. Right. Like, that's how that was for me. Like, he wasn't growing up in a black church. He grew up with he didn't grow up like that. So it's like, it's really weird when he did it, but it was like, because he had the skin, everybody accepted it. We started, man.
Like, that's the best we're gonna get. Everybody's like, that's the best we're gonna get. So they just.
But we relate to it from the reason Drake is successful and the reason Obama was successful is because we relate to their performance of our culture.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I think that's okay, because we even relate to it when white people do it. When white people have black affect, when white people take on black scent, when Aquafina does it, some of us relate to it because it's like, I see myself, I hear myself in these people, and it's nice to see myself outside of me. Like, some people appreciate that. Some people are repulsed by it, but some people are attracted to it.
And I think that's why it irritates me when people say there is no black culture. I'm like, how are you saying that when it's people who literally put it on to appeal to black people all the fucking time? That's what I'm saying. Like, there is a culture. Maybe we don't like when we see certain parts of it, but there is a culture because Obama knew how to put that shit on. Drake know how to put that shit on. Like, people outside of us always seem to know exactly what black culture is. But
so are they not black though?
You mean culturally, racially? What do you mean?
No, I'm saying, are they not black though? Like that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, are they not black though? Because y'all speaking as if they're entire different race associated with a different race.
No, racially they're black. That's what I'm saying. Nuance. Racially they're black. Hold on. We're talking about culturally though.
So that's what I'm saying. What I'm hearing is that only black culture is black ghetto culture. I mean the rap.
No.
I mean, it's got to be. Hold on. It's got to be because they're black, but for some reason they're putting on this disguise when they do what we consider black shit.
Obama singing Amazing Grace isn't ghetto shit. So I think you're just hearing it that way. I'm not saying black culture is only ghetto. Because he was talking about Obama singing church hymns. Like, that's Southern black culture. That's not ghetto. So
you know what I mean by ghetto, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
I know, but that's what you're hearing. That's not what we're saying. That's
hood shit or something like that. Like, but it's no. I wouldn't say ghetto. But like
that was where we started. We started with the ghetto.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like our neighborhood. Let me take the ghetto out. We look at them doing the quote unquote black thing when they do the neighborhood shit. Like, go to black churches or do this, that, and the other. But aren't they black? If they're black, then they're just doing the thing. But and that's what I'm saying. It's like I can sit here and be like, yeah, okay, cool. If we was talking about some people who just wasn't black at all, but they're black, they have black in them. It's a lot of people that we let slide and don't even question their mixedness or nothing like that. But when it comes to the people, we definitely pick and choose who gets to lean into their side of blackness. Like nobody questions T and Tamara's blackness. Nobody questions their blackness. But we're trying to make it seem like they're putting themselves in another position, or they're coming from a different side or a different race. Like I get because you talking about Obama, like the nigga was born here. Like that's what I'm saying. Like the more you pull at that thread, the more it becomes problematic, because now you're calling somebody who was born here, who lived here, who was raised here, not part of the culture.
You're turning this into something that we're not.
Because he's wrong. No, because he's dead wrong. So first of all, Yellow, like President Obama was born here, but so was Michael Rappaport. He was born here. Michael Rappaport is not black because he was born here. We're not talking about American. So when I say Obama, where you're born does not make you black unless you're talking about a black American or you're talking about a black race. But Obama is only black racially. He's not a black American. His mother was white. His father was an African. So there is no black American in President Obama, except for the fact that he's a first generation born here. So that made him who got birthed into.
Or if he was born here and he's black, what the fuck does that make him? Like, what does that make him?
I just explained that.
But I'm saying, hold on, because y'all trying to make him culturally something else. But you said that since his mama was white. You said since his mama was white and his daddy was African, that doesn't make him black American. But then you turn around and say he was born in America and he's black. So how did that not make him?
You gotta hear the distinction. Like, quit. Like, don't listen to your feelings. Listen to what I'm actually saying. I said first generation, which is different than what we're talking. When we say black American, we're typically talking about the descendants of slaves. We're talking about multi-generational people who started probably from slavery, because we don't know our histories. We know Obama's history. We know his mom was white and his dad was an African. That's not what we're talking about. When we say black American, that's not the context that anybody is talking about when they say black American. That's like saying an anchor baby, even though it might be a citizen, they don't consider it a citizen a lot. Like the connotation is different in people's minds, and the way people conceptualize who a person is and how they identify might be one thing on paper and might be another thing in context. And I think you understand that. I know you understand that.
Yeah, because he also wasn't. I don't think he was here. He was raised mostly off the mainland, I think.
Yeah, he was raised in Hawaii and then spent some time in Kenya. MJ.
Yeah, and in Kenya and stuff like that. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I brought up Tyler, because you said black people don't do nuance, and so let's do nuance.
Let's be nuanced.
Yeah. She racially is black because there's only black, white, Asian. There's like
Mongoloid, Asian.
Yeah, there's only like a Mongolian, Hawaiian, Pacific Islander. There's only so many races. So yes, racially, all of these people can be considered black unless they want to consider themselves mixed. We're not arguing with that. Obama is black. Drake is black.
Racially, because his father was African, so he's racially black.
They're all racially black. Now you start talking about culturally black American. Mm-hmm. That's where some of the nuance is needed. Yeah. So that's the difference we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I think you can't just blanket everybody and say like everybody who is black racially, it has come up in black American culture. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about. And that's, I mean,
they had a whole birth certificate thing, and how did you miss the whole birtherism thing?
Oh yeah, he was trying to say he wasn't an American or something like that.
Yeah, they said he wasn't born in America, and he got a Hawaiian birth certificate.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, but that's kind of, I guess that's the point. Like most black Americans don't actually think we don't have black American culture. Yeah, we don't have a feel on black American culture, and everybody outside of black American culture very much so knows. I think when they see it, they know.
Like Larry Flint, they know when they see it.
They know when they see it
because it's not them.
Because
because they're not in it.
Because the qualifiers are too inconsistent.
I I don't know if it's.
I'm just saying to be fair, the qualifiers to fall into Black American culture is too inconsistent. You could be born here and be Black, but if you don't do Black shit all the time, now you ain't Black enough. You can be close enough to this Black area, but if you do, you could be Black, but if you don't do Black 51% of the time, then you ain't Black enough. If you don't consistently fill up your Black cup all the time, then you ain't Black enough. Because it's crazy how we take pride in code switching at work and being able to do that, but then we look at these people and get mad at them for code switching, for being able to tap into who they are at all times.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my point. Like they know that's all I'm saying is they are proof that there is a Black culture, even if
because they can code switch to it.
Yeah, even if Black Americans don't seem to have a good grasp on what it is ourselves,
but they can't participate in it though.
No, that was the whole point of this conversation, that people, it's because it's not gatekept, because it's not just geographical anymore. You no longer have to be in a Black neighborhood to experience Black culture. People who have never, if geographical limitations were a natural gatekeeping mechanism. If before there was social media, if you wasn't pulling up into Black parties or Black spaces before it became on TV to twerk and shake ass, Black people was twerking before women started twerking in videos, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, so before social media, people who were not in the community wouldn't witness some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. But now, because of social media and everything is shared and everything is available for everybody to see, people who didn't grow up or who are not in the geographical locations where maybe that culture exists can partake in the culture. They can partake in the culture. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And I would even relate it outside of Blackness. Like, why in America, even though it's just food, why do they call it Chinese food when Chinese food are preparing? Like, we can go in there and we see Asian people preparing the food, but they'll still put Chinese food on their restaurant. Why would they need to do that? They're making a cultural distinction to let you know that this is something very specific from a certain group of people. Like, but it's unnecessary because your eyes can go in there. You see things you can't pronounce. Szechuan chicken. What is that? It's food.
That shit. I ain't never been able to say that shit. Szechuan. What the fuck? I be looking at that shit like I hate this place that I'm going.
But for them, but it's just food for them.
What I order. That's what I order. That's what I can say.
It's just food for them. Number one, it's not even the way they would cook it for themselves. It's not. But it's a presentation of the food that's palatable for you. Yeah. That gives you a taste of their culture in a way that you can consume it. Right. In a way that you would accept it. And they call it Chinese food. And that's the same thing with Black culture. They're saying, I'm giving you, when we're talking about Black culture, we're calling it Black food. Like, it's not the way we would necessarily eat it because it might be too spicy for you. You might not like this combination. It might be too salty, but I'm going to make a version of this and serve it to you. And that's what Drake does. That's what Obama did when he sung Amazing Grace. It's an overview. It's a simplification of the Black culture. It's because also Obama might know that, like, Candace Owens went on this podcast and she couldn't do the call and response. God is good. Microphone, y'all.
Most of the time.
And most of the time,
God be on some bullshit.
Okay, but you even know, you don't go to church, but you know that call and response pattern. Candace Owens says she's a Christian, but she didn't know it. So although she's a Christian, she doesn't know Black church, which is its own culture. So I'm saying, like, that's what when we're talking about Black culture, it's the Chinese food effect. You don't need to call it Chinese food, but you do to indicate something very specific. We don't need to call it Black culture. It's just what Black people do. But you call it Black culture.
You know why you gotta call it Chinese food? Because you got to let them know what you're walking into. Of course, when you walk in, you're going to see the Chinese food, the Asian logo. That's why you have to call it that. Because not everything is just not the inside of everything isn't seen from the outside. You know what I'm saying?
You're denoting that this cuisine is from a culture that is not.
Yeah. You're letting people know where they're going. Right. So in this sense, I can understand why calling Black culture because you gotta let people know what they're getting into.
Yeah, right. This is coming from a culture that's a subculture. It's coming from a minority culture or subculture.
But you're getting a piece of it because the rest of it is the sexy reds. Like the rest of it, we're not going to give you.
Yeah,
we're not going to feed you everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You want to eat the crust.
Yeah.
And act like the rest of the pizza.
Like Marc Jacobs wants to put on the cigarette nails, but he ain't trying to do the full black woman experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's palatable. It's being sold.
Yes. Commercialized blackness is black culture. But we know internally, there's a different version of the culture that we experience, which is when we say people want our culture, but they don't want our problems, or people, when we say that, that's what we're saying. They take the commercialized version of our culture, but they don't want the depth of our culture, which comes with pain, trauma, lack. They reject all of that and shame us for it while taking the parts that they want to play with. So like we need language for this differentiation. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I'm I hear y'all. No, I hear y'all. And for the most part, I would definitely be on y'all's side. It's just having experienced blackness in the way that I did.
Yeah. Being Drake. You've been Drake too many times?
In a sense, yeah. That's why I call it out, because my blackness has been called into question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been called a white girl myself, and I'm black. I mean,
But see, that's haphazardly. That's off the cuff. You know what I'm saying? That's a way to try to get to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was called White Kevin. My cousin was called Black Kevin because he was dark skinned.
That's so black culture, though, to even call you white. Kevin,
exactly.
You're so clearly black. Like, you're so clearly black. Like, that's so black culture to even call you white.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, it's so black.
I love it though.
Exactly.
It's so terrible.
And in a sense, like at that point in time, I ain't really care because whatever. But growing up and seeing the effects of that, it's like, y'all niggas think somebody really need to be at this party? Like motherfuckers might want to come to this black party, but y'all act like motherfuckers need to be here. Like nobody needed to be at the BET Awards. That's why the people who was there, because those was the niggas they can get to come. I mean, those was the people who decided to go be a part of that goofy shit.
But that's what I'm just to say. Like I from the day I met you, I've never doubted if you were black. So I don't really know. Like you're light, but even within the black community, we know this. So I don't know. Like I wouldn't say.
They also don't treat us like that either.
What you mean? You're not like the Drake.
No, I'm saying it's
you grew up in the black American community, right?
Yeah, and I felt a lot of the exclusion because you hear a lot. Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm black. There's no question about it. My mama black, my daddy black.
You're black racially and culturally. You're black,
right? But even with me being light skinned, I'm not black enough. I
mean, I think that's like a different.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I think
that's
like
the fourth pillar.
That's the fourth pillar, like within the black community. The colorism, I think what you're talking about is more along in the colorism argument, I would say, because based off what we're saying, you're black racially and culturally, like there's
nationally.
Right, but I've also watched the black love get heaped on people who are mixed, who are more mixed than I am.
Right, so now you start talking about colorism. So you're talking about colorism,
but,
which is a part of
I'm talking about who actually getting let. It's not just colorism, because it's a knowing like, okay, I know they mixed, but they good.
Yeah, we get passes, but here's the thing. Like, okay, so this is why we need better language, because Yella's talking about ethnicity. So there are traits that people assign to a certain group of people, and Yella, because he's light skinned, he's not assigned to blackness by his features until you are around him enough to notice certain things. But
if you just look at him killed by the police, then I'm black.
I mean, but so there's race, there's nationality, there's ethnicity, and there's culture. And blackness is the term black is used for all four, which is why it's so problematic, because we in our minds will switch between one and a long time ago, Bree and Yellow, we did this thing talking about the Greeks didn't have the color for the word blue.
Yeah,
like that's what black is to us. We have not separated the things to make a distinction between black race, black nationality, black ethnicity, black culture. So when we're having a conversation about blackness, we slide in between all four of these. Yeah, that's what we. Even in this conversation, we've slid in between them because like I'm black, but I'm not black, but I'm black. And it's like I'm black nationally, but I'm not black culturally, but I'm black ethnically. Like everybody can see I'm black. Ethnically, I'm black. Everybody can see I'm black, but I'm not black because my black culture is not expressed. So like it's really difficult to have that conversation until we develop language to separate all four of these. What's up, the love experience? Yeah, I saw you in the chat over on the Gray Pill podcast when you came in. I was watching them start to talk about attachment. You always gonna get me with psychology and philosophy. Man, he had attachment styles. I was there. I gotta go back for the replay, but I saw you in the chat. Appreciate you, Lola, for popping in. Good to see you as well. But we have to develop language, y'all. And I don't know if we're gonna do it. Maybe we're gonna sit down one day.
We need to be nuanced, like you said. Nuance is not a part of culture, but we need to start being.
Yeah, because
so nuance will be developing more articulatable language. So we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to do that.
And realizing that the 4 pillars, because I never thought about it that way, and I'm glad. That's why I learned from y'all. Y'all too smart motherfuckers. Y'all. That's why I be around you.
Just a little.
But when you say 4 pillars, I'm sure most people would think of 4 standing pillars. But I think the black culture is just 4 pillars toppled on top of each other.
Now they fell down.
Wow.
No, that's how intertwined it is. Just think about the sight of 4 pillars laying on each other. You see from a distance. You really couldn't tell which pillar was which because they all look the same. They all just 4 pillars.
Yeah, at one point. Yeah.
Right. From a certain distance, you wouldn't be able to tell which pillar is which because they all on top of each other. They all in the pile. They all sticking out in different ways. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I see it. That's why it's so hard to kind of that's why it's so hard to kind of navigate it because I would much rather just not have that's why I don't carry the issue. That's also why after all the stuff I talk about, I don't carry that issue with me. I know I'm black. Shit. Nigga, my credit score, my baby mama, my life would fucking tell you that I'm black.
But I think because black culture, like Black American culture, has been so incubated, a lot of black people haven't gotten a chance to go outside of their community. A lot of black people stay in the communities they grew up in. Maybe they don't travel a lot or go other places. When you start talking to people who aren't black or people who know where they're from, you will start to quickly realize that it's more than just I'm this.
Oh yeah,
right. And that's where I think I started to learn that there's more language that we're not using because, you know, I always tell y'all I dated someone from Bulgaria. He never called himself white. Like racially, he would be, but he's not gonna say I'm white. Like how we say we're black for everything. He is white, but he's Bulgarian because he knows where he's from. And so, but a lot of these people who are claiming black when it's beneficial, and I'm not even talking about the Drakes. Let's just talk about like. Y'all know I hate that shit. When we start talking about black male and female relationships in America, there's a lot of people who are from not America talking about black American racial relationships, but they're talking about, they're commenting on black cultural relationship dynamics, but they're using their black race as a way to get into the conversation when they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a problem for me.
Yeah. Or they'll slide in, or they'll slide back and forth. They'll use their black racialness to get into the conversation, but then they'll compare black Americans to black wherever they come from.
Where they come from.
See, back home in Nigeria, you're very traditional. The man would just take care of it, and that's when you find out that they're not black Americans when they say something like that. My parents, my dad, you know.
These black American women, ain't your wife African? I said it with the finger too. Ain't your motherfucking wife African? What the fuck are you talking about?
Ain't your wife white? Because most of them niggas get them a white woman. Them niggas come from Africa and get them a hot spit on that thing. And
my wife does this. Isn't your wife from a whole nother culture? So I don't give a fuck.
Whole nother set of sensibilities. But we're infecting them, and I say that with love. I don't want to call us a virus, but we're viral. We tend to catch. We tend to catch.
Yeah, we're viral.
Like, man, because Yella started watching that South African dating show, and my God, they were the most inarticulate Kendra G viewers. I need a man that make $100K.
I need.
Got to make
what is your
I need a masculine man.
He must be a provider.
Must be a protector.
Must be
a provider.
God fearing. God fearing.
This is so terrible.
He must fear God. What God?
Do you got the passport?
But that's what, like, we're so highly commodified because, like,
it's crazy.
We contagious. But we still should know that that's us. Like, when there's certain stuff I see and I be like, that's us.
That's us. They take that from us. K-pop. We recognize that immediately. Oh, that's us. When Kai had on the do-rag, I'm like,
yeah. And that's what I'm saying. So, like, when you were talking about Drake, I'm not gatekeeping. I'm just saying I think some people want gatekeeping. I'm not one of them people because I fucks with new jeans because all of it sound like some 90s shit.
Yeah, buddy.
It's WZ. Okay, so I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. But I know my culture when I see it. Just like when I turn on that YSL case and that nigga Woody was up there talking, I said, "Damn, that's us. That's me. And my people. That's my culture."
Man, I'd have Woodied on the stage too, goddammit. I'd have Woodied on the stage too. That nigga said a whole lot of nothing, and that's exactly how you testify, ladies and gentlemen.
Black culture shit.
That is how you testify.
What I do wish though with the African contingent, I really do wish they would come in and present themselves as African and teach some of the things that they've learned by having an inborn culture, by having a family where they know what the lineage is for multi-generations, from how did they transmit information from generation to generation? How did they pass on wealth? All of the systems
just trying to get our fucking money.
Yeah, so I wish.
I feel like we don't need that shit either because
I don't want that shit.
Well, I'm finna say they can keep that motherfucking shit. You wanna know why, Nick? Cause we ain't African. We are not African.
This is so black right now. You feel the culture? Y'all feel that culture coming out? Y'all feel that culture coming out? This some nigga shit. This some boondock shit.
You can bump to it.
Around
here. You can bump to it around here.
Yeah, it's just like universal now. Like whoever the us is to you, that's who they not like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like whoever you playing.
Appropriated. Just do the Taraji version for the Just change the words.
I don't know. I just wish there's something, and I hate to take it out. I hate to go out to the larger. I hate that the access to whiteness and power is typically what guides that separation from blackness. Like that's why everybody wants like the affect of blackness, some of the accessorization, but they don't want to be too close to the people because there's an anti-blackness worldwide. So it's like even Africans are really anti-Black American because it's like we would love because so many Black people talk about I want to go to Africa, I want to see Africa. Whatever y'all feel about it. I'm just saying.
The culture coming out.
A culture. We want a heritage. A lot of Black Americans, we want a heritage. We know ours was erased, and we don't know exactly where we came from. And some of us are trusting those ancestry kits. Some of us are not. But it's like we want to know where we came from to be able to be like other people. Comparison. Like I came from here. My people are here. This is where I'm from. Yeah, we want that. But they don't, when they come here, they look down on us because the people from the culture, the media, everybody looks down on Black Americans. So it's like that the culture and the people.
Sounds really sad.
And I think that's where we be fucking up at.
I found it fascinating because that's not, Rashawn is right. I think a lot of Black people are in that space. I've heard enough Black people in real life and online stuff to know he's true. I don't relate. Yeah. I don't feel that way. And I do wish I could better articulate.
You don't want to see Ghana?
Fuck Ghana. Didn't them niggas sell us?
They ain't sell us.
Y'all see?
I bet you somebody over there, granddaddy did, nigga.
Do y'all know the ships that came from fucking Ghana? What the fuck are you talking about?
Man, listen.
Them niggas sold. They got the port. Have you seen Hooked on the Hog? High on Hog?
We were tricked.
Them niggas was tricked.
Not us.
Africans were tricked.
We were scooped up.
We were tricked.
We heard some drums. We heard some drums on the boat, and we was like, "Oh shit, what's that over there?"
The first step you gotta do is stop identifying with them. Them niggas over there was street, not us. Me over here.
I swear I ain't got took into slavery.
We're the same people. I ain't got Yella. Here's the trick though. We're still them because you said it earlier. is just a division of what land, how far up somebody went, like how many boats it took to get us here.
That's
like,
across the ocean.
It don't matter. I'm saying because we're still getting tricked right here today, and we're still getting enslaved right here today because of our skin. So it's like that's still a thing.
We slaves?
Some of us are. Yeah.
Ooh.
What? Ooh,
Now hold up. Now you're talking about. See, here we go with the difference between what's on paper and what's conversation. Yeah, okay, so the nuance. Most people are living a life where, like you said earlier, Bree, out of your own mouth, was people are not free enough to choose who they are. So the lifestyle that they live, the need to produce capital, and the need to live in a the hegemonic masculinity and whatever the feminist ideal of a woman, people have not embodied themselves enough to ever learn what freedom is. So we're still living in a state of mental slavery because of the systems that we're brought up into. So women are taking on a role that they have not accepted or learned. Men are taking on roles that they have not accepted or learned. They're just performing it resistantly, resentfully. And we see that in all the negativity and anger that's coming out between people. We see that they're bitter because of the bondage that they've been placed in. They're not choosing the lives that they have. We find ourselves trapped. Nobody wants to vote for either of these two losers, but we're here. So all of us, because of the system that we're in, we're all kind of captive to the system. So we either participated or lay down, but nobody's actually choosing the way that they want the world to be. We're either acquiescing or we're kind of apathetic, but nobody's actively choosing and molding the world. Exactly. So that's when I say slave, I don't mean like somebody has you in shackles. I mean the system and the circumstances has you trapped in conditions that you would not have chosen for your life if you were to choose of your own free will.
But I think it's upsetting because people don't even take control of the stuff they can. You know what I mean? And I think the bigger picture, the macro of that is what you're talking about. Ultimately, we're giving up control constantly offloading. We're just completely opting out of taking control of your own life. So that's why I kind of feel the same a lot of times. This is also, I think, culturally part of Black culture is jumping way up high, aiming so far out of beyond your control, and not even mastering the shit you can't control in your own life first. And that's always going to leave you feeling overwhelmed. And I think that macrocosm of just that's from people not even controlling their own lives first. Because if you really did have control of your life and understand the role you can play and start to get a better feel of what you could and could not control, I think things would be a lot different. Because at one point you just go fuck it all. You just be like, fuck it. What's the point in voting? What's the point of this?
Apathy,
the apathy takes over when you just feel so out of control.
That's where I'm at.
Life. Yeah. I'm sure people who don't give a fuck about voting don't give a fuck about something that's way smaller that they could actually change. You know? So but that's also a part of the Black culture, I think. The apathy. So
coming from that position of learned helplessness.
I don't know if I want to ask a question or make a statement, so I'm gonna ask a question.
Ask a statement.
Ask a statement.
Okay.
Gotta do that at the end.
Say the question.
Yeah.
Like you said, it wasn't. When you had that, with the question mark at the end, we used to do what was it? Quantum.
Yeah, just upward inflection at the
end. Okay. I get the connotation of us being slaves in the sense that we are kind of behind on the come up. But what does freedom for Black people look like now?
That's the thing. It's a great question.
Will Smith
statement. It's a great statement.
You know what? Hold on. Breathe.
I just laughed.
You laugh, but I say that all the time.
No, I actually believe it. His kids are free. He's free. I think they are the picture as free as you can get.
Let's put it in perspective then. If Will Smith should count as the perspective of free, but the way he's viewed by Black folks, he's not. He doesn't have that freedom to be himself. He's rich. Don't get it twisted. But he's not accepted.
because we view, and I'll say we, just to not to try to exclude myself on anything, we view everything he does in a negative light. That man can't do no right. He can't do no right.
Because he's free.
Right.
Hold on, right. The thing we want is also the thing that we spit at.
Yeah.
The thing that we put down.
We like that old lady. We like that old lady.
It's not about not having it, because not many people will ever have it. Not many people, black, white, Chinese, clear.
We're not all gonna end up here.
Will never have will never have the amount that Will Smith got. I ain't talking about that.
Right, of course.
Somewhere but the freedom, like this nigga got, the nigga got up in a $100K suit in front of billions of people watching the Oscars. He straightened his suit out first before he walked across that stage, and he reached back with
to 1619.
When he reached back to the motherfucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
He reached back to the Amistad.
Yeah, Amistad.
And he smacked that nigga.
Give us free.
He smacked that nigga Chris Rock through time.
He did.
He communicated with the ancestors.
Because he moved forward in time and was like, damn, I just got the shit slapped out of me. Like he watched it.
Yeah, he did.
In the future.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Can I bring up some evidence of the black community to show you why they hate Will Smith? But continue. Yeah. I'm just gonna pull it up. Because this is the culture. Once again, I'm comfortable with the negative and the positive aspects of our culture, but I know our fucking culture when I see
it. Raise up. They raised us to be women. Raise our own children. Yes, see, y'all go pick them. All y'all want somebody you can put your hand on and whine and all cutting and all that foolishness. A woman has to be a woman. A woman places in a home. A man places to provide. And if he don't provide, then you don't need it.
So, Mama Agnes, what kind of women like us dudes just choose? How do you feel about us just choosing all these? You know,
I don't feel anything because I got my man.
Bonnet crew.
54 years, and I always had to be a woman. I've been a woman. I've been working since I was 7. I've been raising children since I was 5. I've been cooking since I was 4.5. And these women today, all they know is McDonald's, fast foods and stuff. They don't know nothing about cooking and feeding no man. Wait till a man hardens through his stomach, get you behind in there and cook.
You know,
and feed. And make sure he get up off the butt and go to work.
Is there something that's missing in this community?
No, the women sorry. Now they may not like.
Wait a minute.
But these
snap.
No, let her cook.
No, let her cook. I had a thought. My bad.
Some women today, they don't even raise their children. Their children raising them. Look,
that's why they hate Will Smith.
To raise her children, and at the end of the day, tell their husbands which one they had to almost kill. That's how that go. That's why the juvenile center is so full, and they're expanding the jails because mothers don't raise their children and putting the blame on the man.
Let
and the man
let her finish. We almost in the kitchen.
No, I'm not going to pot. Hell no.
You know,
her place in the kitchen.
Let her finish. Let her finish.
I hate that because you know they listen to everything you say.
I'm telling the truth, and I can't stand it because I'm 72 years old and I still don't mind working. I ain't scared of work. They stay in the system and use up the elderly money. They get in the system and out there and get all them children and expect us to help them take care of them. I'm sick of it.
Elderly money.
And that's why they fucking hold on. And that's why they That's why they hate Will Smith, because that's the black culture right there. Yeah. You slaves, you got to work, you got to cook and kill your kids. Almost. That's why they hate Will Smith.
Oh my God, you know how many? That just like triggered me PTSD. Like I want to just, I'm trying not to rage. You know how many times I had to walk through the door or like get a call like these boys are here wilding out. These boys here tripping. What the fuck you think they gonna do their kids? Let them niggas do what they do. Like what the fuck is you calling me for? You know what I'm saying? Like tell them which one you had to know. No, I want you to tell me that nobody died that day. Whoever got in trouble out there.
Nothing broke, nothing bleed.
Right.
I almost killed this one. I'm sorry. But you know, some people will say like she cooking, and that's great. But you can't have that and say this is what we need, and then be like, why do they hate Will Smith? Because those two things are complete opposite. Yeah, they're complete opposite. Those two can't exist together, and that she is a picture of at least what the black community was. It's starting to change, but yeah, that black culture can't support a Will Smith.
Yeah, because even though we aspire to it, until you're there, you resent it. You resent the thing because you're comparing yourself to it. So every time you see something that's free, if you're not free, if you're captive, you're going to resent the free thing because you're not there. So like we live to tear down. Like that's the whole internet right now is built on tearing down people who have elevated to somewhere that we're not.
Right.
Like that's the entire reaction space is somebody got some attention. Let's put them back in their place. Like
they didn't do it the right way.
Now they're attacking the Hot Tour girl.
Right.
So she got a minute. It wasn't even her platform. She got a minute of fame. And Hot Tour, that sexual degenerate. And da 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 da.
Now it's weird, right?
Let's go.
Because coming to find out the nigga might have been a scammer and all the other shit. It's that same mentality that set off that whole shit. Muscles McTurtlehead.
Oh yeah. He's a creep. He's a weirdo.
Right. He's a scammer. Cool. I'm with that. I'm not gonna discount that at all. Mm-hmm. However, the circumstances on how all that went down, apparently, is what you're talking about. Because we had seen that show of a billion times. We have seen clips of that little fucking pop the balloon. That shit was that whole shit is spinoffs with all the other shit. Pop the balloon, put a pin in the balloon, unair the balloon. It's all types of,
right.
It's all types of spinoffs now, right? Motherfuckers are saying all types of crazy ass shit. This one dude got singled out. 500 people, whole bunch of people call your job to get you fired, to say you was on that show.
But do we know that to be true?
I don't know if none of it's true. I'm just going with it.
I think that ended up coming out that maybe that was the part of the scam.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause that's what he said on his GoFundMe, but he's a scammer, so I don't want to.
My thing is,
I think they find out he's lying.
I'm taking it as what it is. I know it's some.
You gonna take it at face value? You gonna take it at face value?
Yeah, I'm taking it at face value. I know it's some
conversation. Let's go.
I know it's some.
Yeah, it's some shit in the water. Some shit in the soup.
Yeah, some shit in the water. Yeah, it's some shit in the water. But my thing is this:
it's floating too. It's solid.
The idea is that people wanted to check him because he walked off with a match.
Yes, he
walked off and went on about his business. He said what he said on that stage. He might have said all of what he said on his stage. But the key ingredient is that he walked off that stage and went on about his life. It was the rest of everybody else who felt like they needed to put him in his place.
Humble him. Yes.
And humble him. And check him.
Who do you think he is?
That even led to the scam he was able to scam niggas with.
Yep.
It's your fault, Claudia.
Yeah.
Damn. Where'd she come from? I mean, but I think, but that's the whole thing. We can't necessarily say that the people wanted to check him if he was the one who pretended that happened. Because if people didn't really give a fuck, they just made commentary on him. But he came online and was like, "Y'all got me fired from my job." Like if that never happened, then that whole thing about people couldn't handle it.
But just like for the sake of argument, we know stuff like that does happen. We know people do coalesce and organize around somebody who makes themselves feel like they puff themselves up. Somebody wants to humble them. That's just a thing. And I don't think it's new. That's not like that. It's been talked about in the Bible. Like that's the high will be set low, the low will be elevated, or I can't remember the word term they use. But they'll be, lifted up, exalted. So the Bible talks about that too. There's a dynamic with humans where we do that. Somebody that's up there, we want to bring them down. We want to bring them down to our
the black
level.
Community.
I think that's a black culture
crabs
thing.
Crabs in a barrel.
Yeah,
very specifically black.
I'm being a dinner say he acting like it. That's the trick, Tommy. everybody acts like a bitch on that show. Everybody comes with weird ass attitudes. It's people that said some awful shit. I know the dentist dude who claimed he a dentist. He was going in on them chicks.
Yeah.
Like he was going in on them chicks. Nothing happened to him. But you know what I'm saying? Them chicks done said some wild, them rejected them dudes for some wild ass reasons.
They've been getting on his ass. But I mean, go back to what you're saying. Why people don't like Will? All of these things you're talking about is just that's the answer to your question. We just culturally have a lot of stuff that need for that collective approval, while at the same time the collective is negative as fuck. Like I feel like that's a part of like the black.
Yeah, like whose approval are we seeking?
Well, that's I mean, like a lot of times, like people say it's white, but a lot of times it's within the community. It's just
a lot of times it's us.
It's us. It's not even.
It's like by proxy, but it's by proxy white. It's weird.
But that's why people get upset, though. I do think some of it is they're triggered because we've been told that we can't do this because the white people are going to think this. Now the white people seeing it and they're like, "This is fucking great."
Yeah, they're wearing the nails. Dudes are wearing the nails.
Right.
And you like, what now? What, grandma?
Yeah.
You told me.
That's hilarious because it's funny. It's funny because there's something in the gender war that's similar to like we start projecting a fear or want based on something we think the other group wants, but they've never said. And we've disproven like nobody really wants that, but we think that, so we just keep running with it. What's up, Tommy, man? I saw Tommy in the chat, man. We had to get him up. I ain't seen Tommy in the grip.
My nigga Arshawn, what's happening with you?
What's up, Tommy?
Ain't shit. Nah, bro, he didn't have to get exposed for me to know this nigga was a weirdo, bro. That first woman told me, nigga, you's a weirdo.
Certified.
The first woman did not disrespect him. The first woman did not come off crazy. She literally said no, and she explained why. It wasn't nothing offensive or nothing. The moment that nigga set the mood there, every other woman on that panel was on defense mode. And this is what's like tearing me up is because I'm on Black Man's panel with Grace. And I'm sitting there like, am I the only nigga that know how women act? If you're in a group, put it like this, Yella. Let that nigga have been your wingman. You would have beat that nigga ass. Let hear the fuck
do what you doing.
Oh yeah, he the guy drilled y'all back.
Okay, so Yella, stop acting like you don't know, nigga. Like that nigga was a weirdo.
But here's the thing. And this is my point. You're telling me he's a weirdo in a situation where plenty of weirdos have existed. Yeah. This is not an environment where wild ass shit ain't been said from one person standing across the room with a microphone and another person holding the balloon.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I think
so. Hold on. Let me finish. So that's why I was saying the perspective of him getting dragged after the fact. I get people gonna have an opinion. Here's the difference. We do social media. I'm gonna say some shit up here and people gonna have an opinion on it. That's cool. But everybody trying to humble me, bring me down, affect my personal life, whatever might have happened anyway. Scam or not, however, I'm just taking it as face value. That's what we was talking about, the whole trying to bring you down.
Well, no, so it ain't. He's already exposed to be a liar about that. Like, first of all, nobody can even figure out this company that he supposedly worked at. So how the fuck did 500 people call a company that we can't readily find? The nigga went on a GoFundMe with the fucking uniform on that wasn't even a plumber uniform. He's a fucking idiot. Nigga had on a safety vest and the wrong color helmet for a plumber. So to be honest with you, he put himself on blast. He tried to scam after the fact, and then he tried to play victim. And the problem is, you got this. Like, I don't like fighting outrageous shit with outrageous shit. So we have believe all women, which we all know as men is outrageous. But I'm not gonna fight that with believe all men. And what happened in this case was you had a bunch of niggas that wanted to believe all men. And what happened is you open yourself up to look stupid like MTR did. Again, the first interaction showed me that nigga's a weirdo. I've never been turned down and got defensive with a woman. I just keep it the fuck moving. But the moment you hit her with the, oh, you did me a favor, queen. Bruh. Really? Then you're up there literally going back and forth. Like, what real nigga is about to go back and forth with a broad, my nigga? Like, I'm not about to be there arguing with you. What the fuck? And if
a nigga in that situation though, like we've seen hundreds of videos before that of niggas going back and forth with some chick who popped the balloon, who done rejected them motherfuckers and went back and forth plenty of time. Right. So this is my point. This is my point though. All of that is understood. I'm not saying he's not a weirdo. But I'm saying that people that work themselves into a shoot because whatever scam he was trying to run, y'all so busy trying to prove that he ain't that he's doing whatever the fuck he want to do now. The need to figure out if his job was real or not. Like, I'm just going to be straight up about it. Like, the need to want to prove if this nigga had a job. That shit don't fucking matter. But that's what we do. That's what we'll focus on.
No, hold on. They went to find that out because he made a claim that people.
He also could have got ignored too.
That's why
he also could have got ignored. He also could have got ignored.
You said what?
So the idea is that people believe who he was. No. People believe who he was.
Claim that 500 women called your job. Motherfuckers gonna verify that because I'm gonna be honest with you. Even seeing that he's a weirdo, I didn't think that he should have got fired. So even me gonna be like, wait a minute, that's kind of fucked up. And then to find out that you fucking flat out lying? Come on, dog. Because nobody investigates that if you don't come out and say you 500 people. Because let's get this real, Yella. 500 people, like if you said 20 people, okay, maybe 50 people, 500? You really think 500 strangers was that invested on you because you was a little bit rude on the show?
Like yes, because people on the fucking internet are weird. That's why Kai got arrested because motherfuckers flooded. Hold on. Hear me out. Yes, I believe that because people on the internet are weird. That's why Kai got arrested because motherfuckers flooded basically a whole part of New York. They set off a fucking riot and they got the nigga locked up the same way the next time they went and did a fucking soccer game. It was like 2 weeks ago. They did the soccer game over in the UK with the UK basically equivalent AMP and the motherfuckers there shut the fucking game down at the end. Everybody rushed the goddamn fucking field, became a fucking nuisance. They had to get the fuck off the field. The internet is weird. We can't blame one weirdo for being the biggest weirdo in a room full of weirdos.
That was a bad example, bro. Like the Kai Cenat is a celebrity on the internet. You can't just pop up like that for safety reasons. Like I don't think that the weirdos for showing up. He told them to show up. They showed up. Like that was a terrible example. But what I'm telling you is, you yourself said there's been a bunch of weirdos on there, right? You know what hasn't happened to those other weirdos? 500 people called their fucking job to get him fired. So that's what made him stick out from the other ones. Like, wait a minute. As you said, there's been people on there that's been rude. There's been people on there that argue. There's been people on there that's been disrespectful. But you know what hasn't happened to any of those people in the history of that show? 500 people called this motherfucker's job. So that alone makes people try to investigate, like, well, what made this so much different? And then to find out, oh, it's not different, it's fake. You get what I'm saying? Like, again, he wasn't the rudest. He wasn't the most disrespectful. He wasn't none of that. So for people to go to that extreme, it's going to make people go, okay, wait a minute. He wasn't that bad. In order for me to believe that 500 people called you would have to stick out with the disrespect. You would have to just be like, bitch, right down the line or some shit. Like something crazy. So immediately, you know what I'm saying, 500 made people, they actually investigated it to defend him and say, this ain't right. He shouldn't have got fired. And he was a little bit rude. He shouldn't have got fired. And so in investigating that to see if he was done wrong, they found out he was fucking lying.
Oh, shit. It's connected. Drop. There you go.
Yes,
I'm back.
Oh, okay. Damn, yeah. But no. So no, what I was saying was, so they actually investigated the job to defend him. They basically wanted to find out if it was true to say, hey, this is not right. Y'all shouldn't act that way. And in investigating it, they found out that he lied. Because most of even from the women that I heard was, Yeah, he was a little bit rude, a little bit obnoxious, but he shouldn't have lost his job over there. That's crazy.
Let me ask you a question, Tommy, because we were having that conversation as part of a broader conversation about black culture, and Will Smith came up, and like Gazelle's like even though Will's black, people don't accept Will Smith, even though he's all the things that most people aspire to be. Like, why do you think that Will Smith isn't accepted by black people at large? Like, why do you think a lot of people reject him?
I was gonna say, but I was also gonna say, are we sure like black people like really reject Will? Because they was fucking with that bad boy. I don't know if like the community really like.
But as far as an example, like I don't even know how to put words into it. It says device not connected, Tommy. But I don't even know how to put words into it. But there's something as far as Will Smith and blackness. There's something that we don't. It doesn't land. There's
like Donald Glover, kind of like Donald Glover.
It's like Donald Glover.
It's like if you put his statistics up there, he should be like on the Mount Rushmore of black people.
Yeah.
But then it's like,
device not connected.
Why not?
Even Donald Glover said it. Donald Glover even said it. Like, why do I have more Grammys than Will Smith? But then, even Will Smith doesn't get honored at black shows. Yeah,
I got less BET awards than Sam.
And also, like, I think they're only slightly different because I do think Will Smith pivoted to movies, and I just feel like black people generally have supported Will Smith through his career like a lot. Like, Will Smith movie was coming out, black people was going to see it. It wasn't really to the Jada shit hit the fan that I feel like people was kind of like, we don't rock with this dynamic y'all got going on and all this possible swinging. But I feel like in general, the black community really was fucking with Will Smith. Maybe he wasn't their favorite rapper, but
as far as the music, you're right. Yeah, you're right. As far as the movies, we pulled up.
We pulled, and we still do. We pulled up. Generally,
I'm about to say Bad Boys 4.
Yeah, Bad Boys 4.
I'm like halfway through it. I had to turn it off. That shit lit.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. So I did want to talk about Donald Glover, but I would like to hear what Tommy was gonna say because I know you asked him.
Oh no, you gotta ask that again, Arsha. I'm on the road, so
it's cool. Because we got to the pop the balloon, but the broader conversation we were having was about black culture and like how we kind of police it amongst each other. And Yella brought up this point, like all the stuff we aspire to be is kind of like what Will Smith, like the success, the notoriety, the being able to have your kids be free and being able to do whatever they want, like being able to create things freely. Like Will Smith is the epitome of like black excellence of sorts. But it's like a lot of black people still kind of diminish him. Like they don't respect him as far as being black.
They don't even like his kids or like the stuff they're doing with their freedom. With their freedom.
I think Bad Boy and the Fresh Prince might be the only thing acceptable.
Yeah. So like, how do you feel about like how black people don't receive Will Smith well? And that's what everybody was responding to. Like, nah, we kind of do rock with Will Smith, but it's like to a level. Like we don't think about Will Smith the same way we do like Denzel or like even the greatest rappers. Yeah, like we don't put Will Smith.
I kind of disagree with that. I think Will Smith has always been held on that standard. Even I kind of made a comment, even like with the slap. You know, I told people you like to be Will Smith for as long as Will Smith has been, without no scandals, without no being arrested, without like, I don't think people understand how hard that is to do all that in the spotlight. You know, that's like true. You don't never hear too much anything bad about Will Smith ever.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? As far as the kids thing, I think that's just, you know, this internet and just black people in general. Whenever you a little weird, we just kind of point that out. And his kids are weird. I mean, you got Jaden talking about what's the name of his boyfriend, Willow chopping her hair off, and just, I mean, they're I won't call them weird. I'll say they're eclectic. You know, like
they free, they liberal.
Exactly,
they do whatever they want.
But whether it was Will Smith or anybody else, like if we was in the neighborhood and we seen kids like that, we'd probably talk amongst ourselves like, yeah, them little niggas a little weird. You get
y'all would. Y'all would. I know.
So it just so happens that they're in the spotlight and we're saying it out loud. But even with that though, I don't think anybody looks at them as like, bad people or anything.
Bree was
it's just like, oh yeah, they're a little weird. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's black culture. That is black culture.
Yeah, y'all did call me weird. Thank you.
We all know the little cousin we all know the little cousin that's like 5'6", like, yeah, that little nigga gonna be gay when he get up. Like we know, like, yeah. That nigga got a little sugar in the tank. That wrist a little bit too loose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think
4 when I said that. I was like, oh, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
know which way he going.
That's what I'm saying. But I don't think it's so much in Black culture that can't like root for the Will Smiths and the Willows and the Jadens, which is like they are really contrarian. They have used their liberal freedom that his career has afforded them to be whatever the fuck they want to be, which is a lot of not what Black people think they should be, which goes back to the point. I feel like a lot of times when Black people see Black people who become successful, it just never feels like they're like, yeah, that's what we should be. It always feels like, nope, this is not okay. Nope, that's not okay. It's always like the niggling. Like, oh, nope, you can be a Black successful person, but you can't.
You got to do it a certain way.
You can't.
Well, you also got to remember too, we talking about Hollywood that's always been weird. It's just always been weird. Like, you hear about Richard Pryor and the crazy shit he was doing. You hear about, and the problem is, you can have the front like Will Smith has. The problem is, we always know that backstory is gonna come one day, and we are gonna hear about the goofy shit they was doing. And
of course.
And I think that's why. So when you're talking about like when we looking at people in the entertainment industry, I think that's why they looked at that way. I don't think we look at like a lawyer and be like, oh, don't be like that. Like,
well, so that's like still in the accepted. That's what I'm saying. But when you ask, there's like there's like this picture that I think Black people have in their mind of what it means to be the pinnacle of Black excellence, and it's not that. And even outside of like Hollywood, just I'm listening to regular people commenting on it, and some of the stuff that they're nitpicking about isn't even that egregious. Like, I mean, I can understand some stuff is crazy, like, oh, swinger parties where everybody's just orgies. Like, I can understand people being like, that's weird, because Black culture, I think, is typically very conservative, even though hypersexual somehow. But the shit that they really negging on is not even that crazy. It'd be like the most, it'd be like the most inconsequential shit that they're like, nope.
Yeah.
That's where we fucking draw the line. Like, it's weird to me.
So what happens a lot of times too, and I don't necessarily think this is a Black thing. I think it's just, I don't know if it's American or just a human, because I don't like to speak for other countries. I ain't lived there. But it's kind of a whole build you up to tear you down thing. And it's kind of like, I think a lot of people, when you see somebody like a Will Smith, it exposes your insecurities because you can't hold yourself up to what he put himself up to. So that's why, like, when he slaps somebody, everybody overly reacts to it, because it's like, that's the worst thing that we know that he's done publicly. Maybe he's done some bullshit privately, but publicly, that's the worst thing. Now, if you gonna think your personal life the worst thing you've ever done, you don't think it beats slapping a nigga?
That's
you get what I'm saying? So it's like,
and it was beautiful too. That was he might feel like that was the worst thing he did. That was the most amazing
elegant slap. That was an elegant slap.
That was the most amazing thing I ever seen in my life, in front of billions. You did that in front of billions of people. I've never seen. If you think about it, that's the most people somebody ever.
That was supposed to be the Black. That was the Black Oscars. That was the Black Oscars.
And I mean, shit, but let it be then, because the Source was like that. Everything, the BT was like that. They was on the parking lot.
You feel me?
So
why the Black? But that's what I'm saying. The first Oscars that was supposed to be the blackest Oscars had a slap in it. And I was just like, and people was just kind of like, y'all acting up in front of these white folks. And I'm like, well, that's Nick. This is the culture. Once again, this is just one of the moments where I like, that's my people. I take the good with the bad.
Hey, nigga, watch your mouth.
You say, watch your mouth.
Keep my wife's name.
Y'all doing that in front of them good white folk.
That's what it felt like.
We got a chance up there.
That was the biggest reaction.
Y'all doing it in front of you. A lot of y'all mamas done slapped y'all.
The nigga that got slapped ends up getting what he got, a $50 million Netflix deal? I'll take that slap any fucking day, nigga.
Man.
But that's the whole thing. Like, it's the annoyance of like the Black community or people who comment on it being so appalled by shit that they see all the fucking time when they feel like it's in front of some white folks. It's just so tiring for me. But, Black folks be swinging on folks, and Black people.
But that's a lot of conservative stuff. Think about this. I don't know if y'all. I mean, y'all a little younger than me, but I don't know if y'all remember the Bill Clinton situation. All of these conservatives was going in on Bill Clinton. I can't believe it. What happened a couple of months after? Nigga by nigga. Oh, he was fucking his secretary too. This nigga was standing on his soapbox. I just couldn't believe he would do that in office. You literally got finished with that speech and went and fucked your secretary.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think it was just conservatives. I don't think it was a political line. I think it was like black people I was hearing.
No, but this is the difference though. It's conservatives lean on the Bible. Yeah. That's not biblical. Oh, he did it. And so I can only hold you to the standards you hold yourself to. So when that's what you're going to use to lean yourself on and say that's where your values and stuff come from, then I'm just holding you to what you hold yourself to. So when you had these, I mean, we know these niggas don't go to church.
But the black culture is a lot of church culture, even though black people, we're talking about black culture. Like that's the focus of the conversation. So, I mean, you can say that black culture, church doctrine is so ingrained in it that
that prudishness.
So I can agree there.
Or God or spiritual adjacent.
It's like, Yep. Spirit shit. Like the spirit say it's not okay. We'll like say that. So I can't agree with you there, Tommy. Like
that's
it's conservative in that Christianity kind of rhetoric that we just.
So let me ask you a quick question real quick. So like as far as like the BT awards, like we talk about acceptance, like black acceptance. Do people have to be auntie and uncle if they make it? Like do they have to be Taraji relatable? Do they have to be Club Shay Shay? Like, is that the only way that black people can really accept their celebrities? Is that they're relatable? Or can they be eclectic? Can they be different? Can they differentiate?
You ain't got to be cringe or whatever.
I mean, we accept Andre 3000, and he's eclectic. We accept Erykah Badu. Like, so I don't think it's a monolith. I just think the majority, I mean, and again, see, that's why I hate the box, because this isn't just a black thing. White people that are eclectic was called hippies. They were looked at weird. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So usually eclectic, artistic people are always weird.
Those are hippies.
That's just anywhere. Or even just if you just look at people that's just in the arts in general, that are just super artsy. They're generally just weird people. Or I'm saying
the black community, I feel like they are seen as different. In all communities, they have their words for them, but specifically in the black community, it's generally shamed or spoken of negatively. Like hippies was like, okay, yeah, maybe politicians called them hippies, but generally, from what I've seen, like black weird kids were ostracized for being weird, not just like you're weird. Like some people are like, yeah, you're weird, but black kids.
I've had to have this conversation with a couple of guys. Let me get y'all to understand this. There is no nerd that has it worse in this country than a white nerd. Y'all talk all this stuff about the experience of what black nerds go through. When I was in high school, you know what we didn't do to nerds? We didn't put them in trash cans and roll them downstairs. We didn't stuff them in lockers. We didn't tape them up to field goal posts. This is actual shit that happens in white schools every day. Am I saying that black nerds don't get picked on? Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not talking about by the kids. I'm more so talking about by their parents or the older people who are in charge of them. I'm not talking about like in school. I'm just talking about like I feel like our parents really went out of their way to ostracize versus like a lot of times those nerds, those white nerds, they parents was like, yeah, be into your Dungeons and Dragons shit. I'm gonna let you build a whole fucking thing in the basement, and then they would go to school and get roasted and drugged for it. Yeah, you know, by the kids.
I'm trying to think,
no way.
Because generally, I think, I'll give you a perfect example, right? Tyler, the Creator. I don't know if y'all have ever heard his mama. That nigga mama is ghetto. I'm talking ghetto. And he's one of those type of people. It surprised the hell out of me. Like I was like, wait, no, she's I'm talking about the hood.
Yeah.
But he's one of those like eclectic kids, and he even spoke about like how she kind of like defended him and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth on that, because I also come from a hood where those type of kids a lot of times would get protection sometimes, because we knew they were kind of like the little weaker ones or this and the other.
Yeah, sometimes. I think it was more so from the grandparents, the aunties. Like I can be very specific. The extended family. Sometimes the parents, it depends on what kind of weird you were. I mean, if you're just talking about you just like different stuff, some of the parents can get behind it. Don't be fucking gay. you want to dress a different way. I mean, it's so weirdness, even in itself, you have to be very specific.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
I mean, I'm just saying, generally in the Black community, you're highly likely, if you're an outlier in some way that is not seen as acceptable, you're going to be ostracized by.
Do you think it's the same? Say, like, if you had like a white kid in the white community, and he was like a hip hop head type.
Ooh, that's who claim.
Like he acted black, extra black. Yeah, like
I can't speak to like what white kids go through, so that's why I was only speaking from like I was the weird kid as a Black kid. I can only speak to I had the weird friends. We all ran together outside of school and sometimes in school. I know what my experience was, and I can tell you what their experience was. I don't know what the white nerds went through, and also I'm from Atlanta, so school, the environments are different than I think maybe a white nerd maybe in Cali versus in Atlanta in the hood. Like it's just gonna be different. It's just gonna be different. So I can't speak to that. I can't speak.
I think a white nerd in the hood would have a better life than a white nerd in a white neighborhood. Like, look, think about this, Bree. We ain't seen one black nerd shoot up a school yet.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't speak into their cultural dynamics because I'm Black. I'm from where I'm from. So I can't say what a white person would experience or what they do. And once again, I'm not saying Black nerds or weirdos went to school and was beat up. That's also not what I'm saying. Because a lot of times, even though we was Black nerds, we could still throw hands because we from the fucking hood. So it's not like, it's not necessarily that like I'm saying we got beat up at school. I'm talking about the parents, the aunts, commenting on us being weird and ostracizing us verbally or shaming. That's what I'm talking about.
I think the nerd thing is a little bit weird too, because like we go back and forth over that. Like I was in advanced biology. I was in advanced algebra my freshman year.
Right.
But I didn't consider myself like a nerd.
I don't think that's what a nerd is for Black people. And then that's what I'm saying. Like when you're talking about culturally, we have to be nuanced because in Black culture, nerd doesn't mean smart.
I even had and that's why I had to explain to one guy because I was like, bro, I never beat up somebody.
We talking about Naruto running through the house.
Yeah, we talking about we like animation. Like we talking about aesthetically.
I had a homeboy.
Trying to get your hair go.
This is the big one out here in this space, right? I had a homeboy that was in the anime before I even knew what the fuck anime was. I just thought it was a weird drawn cartoon. I'm like, why they draw these cartoons weird like this? Like, nigga,
right?
To me, it came off as these niggas couldn't draw. You had the weird ass teeth and then the eyes and shit. But my nigga was into it. Right. But he wasn't considered a nerd. So it's like
we didn't really say nerd. I don't feel like Black communities said nerd.
No, but I'm saying like ostracized like he wasn't looked at as like a weirdo or none of that stuff. Even like out here we had the niggas that was like skateboarders. Like you had to like I tell people like Steve Urkel was treated the way he was treated, not because he was smart. Cause that I hate when people try to push that on the Black community. Oh, we don't hate like smart people. It was just more because you was weird, bro. Like you acted.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like people, that's why I use the word weird. Like we were the weird kids. Will Smith kids are the weird kids. But see, those kids are ostracized.
But see, the
dress different, talk different, act different.
Yeah,
the reason why I try to compare is because
I'm a cartwheel in the field with a tutu, nigga. Like that's the type of weird.
I was the weird.
Talking about like worshiping trees type weird, nigga. Like you know what I'm saying?
I was the weird.
That's my thing though, Yella. Is
fucking with nobody, but just being weird. You know what I'm saying? Like that
shit right there is looked at the same. I think in most communities, I know. I just say in American communities because, like I said, like okay. The vampire white folks, like they're looked at as weird in their families too. Yeah, gothic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
that's once again, like I didn't say that was only something in the Black community. We're specifically just talking about Black culture. I'm just saying specifically, Black people generally have a negative, like if you were the weird kid, you were gonna get ostracized. I ain't say we was getting beat up and put in trash cans because that's also not a Black culture thing. I feel like because a lot of times in the neighborhoods there's like real fucking violence. I mean, we're not putting people in fucking trash cans and shit. Like people like seeing real violence every day, so it just didn't feel like that was the expression of ostracized for us. It was just you getting roasted. You call a lane, you all kind of stuff like social violence. Social violence.
Thanks, Bri. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you see my titles, eating.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think in American culture, when you're deemed as weird, that's just kind of naturally what happens to you.
Yeah. Maybe I'm. That's why I was only really speaking to the parents, their role in it, and the aunts and the grandparents and stuff. Because I do feel like I had some white friends, and their parents generally supported their weird habits, not just monetarily, but like my mom was chill. But some of my other black friends, their parents weren't taking them to go see fucking Panic at the Disco and shit. Like, we ain't taking you to these weird gothic ass people. We're not taking you. I'm not letting you shop in Hot Topic. That's devil clothes. Like,
man, hey, you ain't never lied about that, Bri.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
all them got them spikes in them skulls.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm talking about. Just like that Christianity fighting against those alternative fashion trends. Yeah. My mom didn't care. She was like, girl, whatever.
Yeah.
But nah, I ain't take you to Hot Topic. That's they satanic store. You ain't going in there. That's black folks. So I mean, yeah. So I agree. I think we're agreeing, but I just think where we're focusing is different. Like the kids, I never got beat up at school or anything or threatened just because I was weird. They were like, she the weird girl. She cool. She just weird. She just doing weird shit. Like, so that's kind of where I was.
Yeah, because I just, like, I be having this discussion with a lot of, because this space is filled with a lot of the quote unquote black nerds. And like, I had to explain to one of the dudes, like, hey, my nigga, ain't nobody beat you up because you were smart. They beat you up because you was a bitch.
You probably
and I don't mean it like disrespectfully, but like I tell people, like, when you're going to junior high and high school, like you getting a rush of testosterone.
Yeah.
And with that testosterone comes the aggressiveness. And if I smell bitch, I'm gonna attack.
Now that's black culture. I ain't gonna hold you.
No, that's culture. That's
that violence.
Think about this, Bri. No matter what race. What do they say? How's the best way to stop a bully? You fight back, which is what? Not be a bitch. So it's like, so if I get all this testosterone and I'm going around and I'm aggressive and I see a motherfucker that clearly ain't gonna, defend himself, I'm a fuck with you until you defend yourself. That's generally how it goes.
It's just kind of like that hierarchy established that always comes along. I just want to shout out to everybody who came here for the title. I'm so glad it triggered y'all. But yes, Sexyy Red is the Caitlin Clark of the BET Awards because nobody was checking for the BET Awards. Sexyy Red brought her ratchet ass up there. That's all. I stand by that. Like 2 years ago, nobody was checking for the BET Awards. I remember when Sexyy Red was at the BET Awards throwing money and shit, and everybody was like, who is this hood rat? Everybody was talking about it.
Hold on. Take It Home podcast. Nobody was immune to the Yo Mama joke. Everybody got that.
Everybody got roasted. Now, roasting was just like free game. Roasting was just...
We used to just stand in the hallway. Anybody
could get it. Yeah, anybody.
Nigga, a teacher walk by, you gonna get it too. Nigga, the penny loafers. Nigga, with no penny.
Yeah, man. Teachers got roasted. Man, we cracked on the teachers so hard. Yo.
The roasted science teacher.
But I loved it because they didn't even understand the context and know that they were getting joked on half the time. They were just confused.
Oh, my God. She used to wear these white church pumps.
We had teachers that roasted back, nigga. Them niggas like your ass.
Yeah, roasting is definitely black culture because and that's what I'm saying. Like we do have a culture, but I feel like when it gets put in front, everybody be like, "Oh, this isn't us. This is the worst of us." I'm like,
I'm gonna tell you a funny one, Bri. When I was in the military, we used to play spades, and the white dudes used to be like, why do you guys have to talk like that? Shut up, bitch. Bow.
Nigga life be on the line on the spades table. Like, have y'all ever been on the spades table and like felt like tension? Like I've seen a fight or two. Like my stepmama disowned me over a game of
man, I never played spades.
Spade.
I was scared. I was scared for my life. I already was the weird kid. Y'all was gonna get me to play Spade, so I can get roasted.
My sister is 40. She still won't play Monopoly to this day because of what I did to her.
I feel like Monopoly with black people is
traumatizing people over games. See, that's why the one time we did a game night. We did a game night one time and it went off the rails because we traumatized people over games.
Let me explain. I'm telling my sister, hey, I'll give you these 4 properties, which literally will give you 2 monopolies.
Man.
She says no.
Nope.
My mom goes, I'll trade you this property for this property.
Yes.
0 monopoly. My mom gets a monopoly. She goes, okay.
Yes.
Bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck?
I hate that.
Bro, I'm flipping the whole board over. You got me.
They have to team up as women. Girl power.
Yes. Okay, speaking of, there's a sidetrack. So Yella, your girl, your little Hawk Tua chick. Okay, she got put on by a dude. All the dudes promoting her. All the dudes celebrating Hawk Tua. He bless her heart. All the dudes love Hawk Tua girl, right? And she went on a podcast. She was like, the first podcast I was going to do, I wanted to make sure it was a woman.
That's all right.
I'm just saying.
That's what you need to see. We know though. That's what I'm saying. We've always understood the gospel of Hawk Tua. We've always understood. She needs to go to the women and spread the message to them.
Where's Shannon Sharp come from? Where's Shannon Sharp?
You know crazy Yella?
They need to talk to us. Skip. She don't need to talk to us, Skip. She needs to go talk to the women. The better ones need to know about the Hawk Tua, Skip. So this thing you send her over there with the mission to complete this complete conversion. This is Hawk Tua.
The sad part about it, Yella, I guarantee you that bitch head game is trash as fuck. That's the sad part about it. Like, she getting all of it, and I guarantee you, they gonna find an ex-boyfriend and be like, yeah, her head garbage as fuck.
Yella in for the fantasy. Yella's in for the fantasy.
He don't care.
Look, see.
It's the willingness for him.
Look, 90. Thank you. It's the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She definitely get 100.
Exactly. That's real. It's like it's the enthusiasm for me.
Tylee.
That's all I need to hear. You what? That's your.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, Yella. I sure the fuck could go find out too.
Shit,
that's why Shaq pulled up. That's why Shaq pulled up.
That's why Shaq was looking like.
But then when we start getting the ratchet shaking their ass on stage,
then we get proud.
Like, right now, it's conservative. Sexuality doesn't affect us. We don't want to see all that. Oh my God, why is she shaking her ass? I'd be so sick of it. Pick a side.
I said in the chat. I was like, please stop telling women to stop having sex.
The whole time I've been in this space, I supported the ratchets.
He supported the ratchets. See?
One of my favorite songs is Joe Moses. I do it for the ratchets.
I do it for the ratchets.
He supported the ratchets.
Let me ask Brie a question real quick. Brie. Now, I don't know what you got going on tomorrow, because I actually want to get into the nuance. I actually want to try to flesh out some better language for the 4 pillars of blackness. And I want to do that with you. So we can either do it next week if you want to, or if you got time tomorrow. But I know tomorrow's a holiday. I don't know what you got going on. I know you don't celebrate holidays the way the rest of us do. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I got pulled into it by the family.
Cool. So next week.
Yeah.
Next week. I definitely want to get into that. But I want to. I know Yella's getting ready to go do a wrestling presser. I really try to get into those wrestling pressers and support and enjoy those. So I want to get ready to do that. So I want to get like last words from Tommy B, Yella, so he can go get ready. But Tommy B, man, this whole thing started with like the blackness and everybody's response to Sexyy Red. And how people like so anti-ratchet, anti-twerking, like a lot. Not everybody. When I say everybody, I'm generalizing, of course. But of course, we still support that, even though we say outwardly we're not. But I want to get like your thoughts on that as you close out, man. Shout out any of your platforms or whatever you got going on. But like your general take on how people have responded to the BET Awards, to ratchet culture. Any of your thoughts on that as we get ready to close out?
I mean, we just live in a world where everything is hyperbolic. So, I mean, if you do one little thing, it's blown up. It's the end of the world. Oh my God, everybody's about to do it. 2-year-old girls are about to be twerking like Sexyy Red and all that shit. I keep telling people from my generation the same thing. Stop fucking lying. I'm gonna be on Ham Channel later on tonight. We're gonna be talking about the generation thing, but like I remember growing up, my dad's generation, and they romanticized their come up, and my grandfather's generation, they romanticized. Everything was so great when they came up. Couldn't nothing go wrong. And so now I'm the generation talking to the youngsters, and I'm watching people my age do the same thing that was done to us, and now they're lying about our come up. You want to talk about how violent this generation is? We did more numbers. You can go look it up. If you want to talk about the music, I can make an argument. Our music was more vulgar. If you really think about it, think about the 3 top rappers right now in this generation: Kendrick Lamar, Conscious, J. Cole, Semi-Conscious, and Drake, Pop Star.
Pop. Yeah.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? We grew up and niggas was talking about blowing your head off, and that was the top rappers. You get what I'm saying?
Snoop, Pac,
so,
Biggie.
I think it's a situation of my generation is like the parent generation. So we're the loud generation, and now we're trying to make ourselves look like we're better than this generation. So anything that's out this generation, it's oh my God. Hold on, man. You had Adina Howard. You had Trina. You had Lil Kim. You
Foxy.
had the Freaknik.
And I got a church lady to be quiet. I said, who was that Freaknik? She's like, girl, you better shut your mouth. I said,
the word train was not invented in this generation.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so all of this shit, I always have to explain this shit to people in my generation. Bro, I was on Black Man channel one time, and these motherfuckers talking about these girls these days want a man with a nice car. Nigga, my dad literally got his cars candy painted, and it wasn't for the niggas. One dude gonna say, back in my day, I have a girl on my handlebars. And I said, when I pulled up in my 65 Mustang, she hopping out and she get in my car. Ain't nothing changed. It's the same shit. It's just motherfuckers that got older, and now they want to make themselves look,
they turning old
or higher.
Yeah.
So
turning old. Damn.
I think that's just what my dad told me something when I was really, really young, and I'm starting to see it coming in fruition. Every generation in the world was about to end. Every generation, this generation is getting worse and worse. There was a time when Elvis was a pervert because he shook his hips. You get what I'm saying?
Have mercy.
Every generation, when something changes, something get a little looser. We would have never did that in my generation. But you niggas grew up to Mrs. Jones, which is literally a bitch cheating on her husband. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
Betty White.
Good point.
So we just basically watching, quote unquote, my generation, because I'm 41, so my generation becoming the parents, and basically, because the grandparents are usually they chilling, the kids they ain't got no voice, so it's my generation. We the parents right now, and it's just my generation trying to paint this fake ass picture of how we grew up and how everything we had these morals and this, that, and the other. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We had all these fake morals, and our music was so great, and we did have some good music, I ain't gonna lie, but so I think that's all it is,
That's a good point.
What it is, yeah.
That's a good point, yeah. No, I appreciate that, Tommy B, man. First time up here, man. Definitely appreciate you. It's been a long time. First time or long time, either way, man. Appreciate you popping up on us.
For sure. Oh, yeah, but tap in with me about the wrestling shit, too.
Hey, where was that suit at, man? Where was you wearing that suit to? Where was this at?
Oh, my motorcycle club had a Christmas party.
Okay, looking cleaner than a bitch.
Hey,
you heard my nigga Kendrick said sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas.
I'm saying, okay.
Yeah, let's go, Tommy. All right, appreciate you. Now, Yella, I know you about to do your wrestling thing, man. That's like scheduled up. I appreciate you, man. Happy 4th to you, Tommy. Now, Yella, you about to go do your wrestling thing in like 10 minutes over on C3 Ultimate Take It Home podcast. Let me drop the I'm gonna drop the link to the thing in the chat right now. For the Red Fighting Blues is coming up this Saturday. They're getting ready to have a presser in just a few minutes. So I'm dropping a link in the chat. Just drop the Yella. Give us some closing thoughts and parting words.
Ladies and gentlemen, tune in 15 minutes for the press conference for Red Fighting Blues going down July 6th. Doors open at 1 o'clock. Bell time is at 1:30. Tune in because we will have names like Renee Van Peebles, the C3 Ultimate Wrestling Women's Champion.
RVP.
We'll have Chris Classic. Atlas gonna be there. And you know Atlas about to say some crazy shit.
Fuck.
So tune in about 9 minutes. We're gonna be live in like 9 minutes. If you ain't seen the presser for C3 Ultimate Wrestling, you haven't seen the wrestling presser. So that's how I'm gonna leave y'all. Y'all be there in a few. I'll catch y'all later. There's been a good chat. Black folks stay black.
What do you mean black?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever black mean to you, goddamn it. I know I'm gonna be black.
Eating on spring, yeah, that's black. Black as hell. Peace, yellow.
So black.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed that, and I'm glad we got to that whole back to that like race, culture, ethnicity, nationality thing. Because I think we, if nobody else is going to do it, I mean, it's been like hundreds of years.
Nobody even realized that black has many aspects.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to like define that, and if nobody else is going to do it, I'm willing.
Damn it, we'll do it.
I'll work on it. I'll work on it between now and next week, and I'll have something because we need to differentiate between the 4 pillars. But I would deal with another thing that came into when you played the slave. When you played the slave lady,
I call that lady slave. I've been working since I was 4. That is trafficking, ma'am.
Yeah,
that is human trafficking.
That is crazy. Working, she like I've been
like,
cooking since I was 5, working since it was something crazy.
7, taking care of kids since she was 4. I was like, ma'am, that is terrible.
Yeah,
I am sorry.
Who starts laboring at 4 years old? Like it was.
She was
crazy.
saying it like, I'm like, I am
sorry
like, for your life, lady.
That's terrible. But she had said, "Way to a man's heart is through his stomach," and that's why I was like, when I had that reaction, I was like, "Shoot!" But forever we've been dying of heart disease and hypertension. So maybe.
So can we like? Because I forgot, but
wait to our heart, our literal heart. Forget figurative heart.
Because they always talking about the men being, these kids end up in jail. No, they end up in jail because that's where they supposed to end up according to the system you raising them in, with the mindset you raising them with. Have you ever thought that that's where they supposed to end up?
Man, why would
that's
you
where
think
they supposed to end up?
Why would you think that? Why would you think that the process I'm
part
going
of it
through
is not
sending
thinking.
somebody there?
Because they think their process was superior, but they ain't like jails weren't built to the millennials who came adults.
That's facts.
Who kids was in jail? Miss 72-year-old.
Yeah.
Who kids was in the mass incarceration?
Mm-hmm.
Was it us? Okay, well, when I'm almost done, I'll show. Huh?
Yes, I thought that was cute when that lady said that. It made me think about like the literal, the heart. I'm like, man, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, because the way
no, it's not.
Killing us.
I mean, well, it is to his heart.
That's what I mean. Like, the literal. That's what I'm saying. The literal heart, not the figurative heart. The literal heart.
That's what I be hearing. Oh, people, I be like, so. I be thinking, so what make y'all think y'all advice be so great? It sound everything she said. It don't sound. Who it sound good to? Nothing she said sounded good to me.
No, I mean, like, it sounds good in the church. Like, we've heard it so many times. It gives us a positive feeling. That's what I mean. Like, it's reaffirming because it reaffirms the things we've been hearing for 60. Exactly. But when you actually, like, again, but all the sayings that we say, those cliches, like I said, the lesser of two evils. That last stream I did, the lesser of two evils. We say it, and we get a okay, it's I should do my duty. But truthfully, who wants to vote for evil? It's like that when you actually think about it, the process of it. I'm voting for evil. That makes me evil, or I want evil. Like that. That's dumb. Yeah. So like we gotta the stuff we actually say, we don't actually think through.
And actually, like, people not getting votes also definitely makes them reconsider what they do. As much as getting a vote does, also not getting votes definitely works too. That's what I was thinking when we were talking about the black community. I'm like, it's so extreme. It's always one swing or another. It's never just like in the middle. It's just like, you gotta vote or die. Well, bitch, I'ma die. I'll be like Satan, but did he say you will positively die? Or is it just hyperbole? This is a metaphor. So I'll take my chances. But yeah.
And see, there's another conversation I want to have because I want to go through Genesis again because I saw a presentation from the Sight and Sound Theater on Genesis, and I want there's some things I want to reread that, and I might do another stream on Genesis, maybe with you. Hopefully, I don't know somebody because it might be some more blasphemy, coming, y'all. So just know. But I saw, I was like, I wonder if this was I'll get into it at some point. But yeah, I appreciate you for bringing up this conversation. I know we didn't get into everything, but we'll
had my good little rant in Discord. But yeah, my final thoughts is boomers, sit down somewhere. Gen X, y'all on thin ice too. Millennials, it's our turn. We up. So we'll see what our special brand of trashness is. I don't think we quite know 100% yet, but we'll figure it out in the next couple of years, I think. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, listen, y'all, we getting ready to head up out of here, man. I'm going to leave Bree, who left a man stunned, as our outro today, because she says she's fine. But
listen, people are, the Black community is suffering, and you're saying it's great. You're saying it's great. Everybody else is suffering. And the Black community is suffering. The Black community is suffering.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.